Chapter 2905. Leaping, why don't you just stand by and watch? If you interfere, I, Duan Lingtian, don't mind killing one more person. When Duan Lingtian's voice entered the ears of the high-ranking officials from the blissful sect, it was as though a gust of cold wind had blown past them, causing them to shiver involuntarily. Fear rose in the hearts of the high-ranking officials from the blissful sect when they heard Li Ping's words. This was because the fact that Duan Lingtian dared to say such words at this moment proved that he had his own confidence. Although it was possible that Duan Lingtian was deliberately mystifying them, they still felt slightly uneasy in their hearts before they were 100% certain that he was deliberately mystifying them. You, Duan Lingtian, don't mind killing one more person? Li Ping sneered when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Duan Lingtian, the reason I'm willing to compromise is because I'm giving face to the force behind you. I'm not afraid of you at all. A hint of disdain could be heard in his voice as he spoke to Duan Lingtian. Is that so? Duan Lingtian asked calmly. His eyes narrowed as he looked at Li Ping. No matter what, I can't just watch you kill them. If you want to kill them, you'll have to get past me first. Li Ping said in a deep voice. As soon as he finished speaking, a majestic aura surged out of his body. The high-ranking officials from the blissful sect shuddered in fear when they saw Li Ping's aura. Even the high-ranking officials from the blissful sect felt pressured when they sensed Li Ping's aura. Only Liu Xiankong, the sect leader of the blissful sect, who was the strongest among the high-ranking officials from the blissful sect, fared better. Boom, 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 boom. At this moment, Li Ping's celestial origin energy surged out of his body. His terrifying aura caused the high-ranking officials from the blissful sect to shudder in fear. Even the people in the blissful sect's estate could sense his aura. What a powerful aura! This aura is Patriarch Li Ping's. This is the aura of an immortal king expert. Similar discussions could be heard everywhere in the blissful sect's estate. Soon after, many of the blissful sect's disciples flew into the air and approached the area. However, even if they approached, they only dared to watch from afar. That is, what's going on? Why did so many people die? Isn't that senior brother Huang Bin? He's a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. How did he die here? As the group of blissful sect's disciples approached the scene, many of them discovered the corpses that littered the ground. They were the corpses of the blissful sect's disciples. They don't have any external wounds on their bodies, but almost all of them have bloodstains on their 7 orifices. There are no external wounds, but blood is flowing out of his orifices. This doesn't seem like a soul attack. Rather, it seems more like a sound wave attack. Oh my God! Just a sound wave attack was enough to kill these senior brothers. What kind of powerful existence is the one who launched the sound wave attack? That kind of existence should be at least on the same level as Lord Sect Leader, right? A commotion broke out among the blissful sect's disciples when they saw the corpses littering the ground. However, after looking at the corpses for a while, they shifted their attention to the group of people standing in front of them. It's Lord Sect Leader. The elders are here as well. Is that old ancestor Li Ping? I think so. Based on the situation, it seems like old ancestor Li Ping is very wary of the purple-clad young man standing in front of him. Isn't the purple-clad young man standing next to the Arhat? Earlier, the Arhat announced that he's leaving the blissful sect. Is it possible that he's planning to join the purple-clad young man? Since the old ancestor, who has become a celestial king, is so wary of the purple-clad young man. This purple-clad young man isn't simple. Those senior brothers must have been killed by his sound wave attack. At this moment, the blissful sect's disciples shifted their gazes to Duan Lingtian. A hint of dread could be seen in their eyes when they looked at him. After all, the masters of the corpses were much stronger than them. However, all of them were dead now. Many of the blissful sect's disciples instinctively retreated, afraid that the purple-clad young man would unleash another sound wave attack. It seems like the sect leader and the others have arrived a long time ago, but the old ancestor has just arrived. The sect leader and the others didn't make a move before the old ancestor arrived. The sect leader and the others didn't make a move even though so many of their disciples were killed. It seems like the purple-clad young man is very strong. Even the sect leader doesn't dare to make a move against him. Who's that purple-clad young man? Could he be a 10 Directions Celestial Duke? I've never heard of such a young 10 Directions Celestial Duke in the 6 southeastern regions before. Who's he? Since the old ancestor has decided to make a move, I'm sure he'll be severely injured even if he doesn't die. That's only natural. The old ancestor is no longer the same as before. He's now a celestial king. The blissful sect's disciples whispered among themselves as they speculated among themselves. They were certain the purple-clad young man was strong. Otherwise, the sect leader of the blissful sect and the others wouldn't have stood idly by as the purple-clad young man killed so many disciples of the blissful sect. Although they knew the purple-clad young man was stronger than Liu Xiankong, the sect leader of the blissful sect, they were confident in their old ancestor, Li Ping. After all, Li Ping, the old ancestor of the blissful sect, had become a powerful celestial king. In the 6 southeastern regions and the borderlands, celestial kings had always been considered invincible. It seems like you're still trying to stop me. Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes when he saw Li Ping's celestial origin energy surging out of his body. It was as though Li Ping had transformed into a god of war. As soon as Duan Lingtian opened his eyes, a cold glint flashed in his eyes. This flash of cold light was coincidentally caught by Li Ping. For a moment, Li Ping could not help but feel a chill in his heart. Is he not just a 10 Directions Celestial Duke or a quasi-celestial king? As the chill rose in his heart, Li Ping's mind suddenly, without any reason, came up with such a thought. It took a long time for the thought to surface in his mind. Since you've chosen to stop me, I'll let you die with them. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, an even more terrifying celestial origin energy surged out of his body. Li Ping's expression changed drastically when he sensed the terrifying aura from Duan Lingtian's celestial origin energy. The high-ranking officials of the blissful sect, including Liu Xiankong, were horrified when they sensed the aura of Duan Lingtian's celestial origin energy. In fact, in the depths of their eyes, there was even a hint of despair. At this moment, they could clearly feel the gap between Duan Lingtian's celestial origin energy and Li Ping's celestial origin energy. The gap between their celestial origin energy and Li Ping's celestial origin energy was not just a few stages apart. It was like the difference between heaven and earth. Boom. Rumble. Before the disciples of the blissful sect could react, a purple energy surged out of Duan Lingtian's body and shot toward Li Ping. Swoosh. After all, Li Ping had used his celestial origin energy first. As soon as Duan Lingtian made his move, Li Ping unleashed his celestial origin energy. The silhouette of a golden Buddha appeared around him to protect him. In addition, one could also see a thick and translucent giant bell within the golden Buddha silhouette, enveloping his entire body. Immobilization King Art. Profound bell defense. Upon seeing this, the high-ranking officials of the blissful sect, including Liu Xiankong, the sect leader of the blissful sect, realized what Li Ping was doing. Li Ping had cast the blissful sect's triple trait Duke grade celestial method, the immobilization King Art, and the profound bell defense, the blissful sect's triple trait Duke grade celestial ability. Whether it was the immovable Wisdom King or the profound bell defense, in terms of defensive abilities, they were top-notch among the Duke grade celestial methods and divine abilities. Now, when they saw Li Ping execute the immobilization King method and the profound bell defense, they subconsciously believed in these two methods, and they subconsciously hoped that Li Ping would be able to block Duan Lingtian's attack. At this moment, they seemed to have forgotten about the difference between Duan Lingtian's celestial origin energy and Li Ping's celestial origin energy. It's too fast. It's impossible to record Master Duan's attack. As soon as Duan Lingtian's celestial origin energy surged out of his body, Ji Fan took out a floating image pearl that was a Duke-grade celestial weapon. However, he soon discovered it was impossible for a floating image pearl of this grade to record Duan Lingtian's attack. Fortunately, Li Ping doesn't intend to run away. At least, we'll be able to record him defending against Master Duan's attack. I wonder if Master Duan's attack will be able to break through Li Ping's defense. With Li Ping's current defense, even an ordinary two-form celestial king won't be able to break through it without mastering a celestial method or divine ability. Jifan's heart was filled with anticipation as he used the floating image pearl to record the scene before him. After all, the aura of Duan Lingtian's celestial origin energy had completely avoided Jifan's detection. Moreover, Jifan was standing behind Duan Lingtian, so he could not detect Li Ping's celestial origin energy. Chapter 2906. As soon as these thoughts appeared in Jifan's mind, boom, rumble. In just a blink of an eye, the purple energy from Duan Lingtian's celestial origin energy collided with the golden Buddha silhouette that had emerged from Jifan's body like a torrential flood. In the next moment, bang! At the same time, the high-ranking members of the blissful sect heard a loud bang. Then, they clearly saw the scene before them. The golden Buddha silhouettes around Li Ping, the old ancestor of the blissful sect, could not withstand Duan Lingtian's purple energy at all. As soon as they came into contact with the purple energy, the golden Buddha silhouettes shattered instantly. No. When the golden Buddha's silhouette was destroyed by Duan Lingtian's powerful force, Li Ping let out a cry of unwillingness. At the same time, a small bell appeared in his hand. As soon as he infused it with his celestial origin energy, it shone brightly. In the next moment, Duan Lingtian could clearly see Li Ping's appearance. The small bell in Li Ping's hand, after being infused with his celestial core power, extended a series of complicated and obscure translucent runes in a timely manner. These runes merged with the silhouette of the huge bell that was shrouded in Li Ping's hand. In just a blink of an eye, runes began to appear on the smooth surface of the huge bell. These runes were none other than the small bell in Li Ping's hand. After leaving the small bell, the runes merged with the silhouette of the huge bell. A king-grade celestial weapon? Duan Lingtian speculated that the small bell in Li Ping's hand was a king-grade celestial weapon. The blissful sect has 2 king-grade celestial weapons. One of them is in the possession of the 10 Directions Celestial Duke, while the other is in the possession of the sect leader of the blissful sect. Up until now, Duan Lingtian still remembered the words of the sect leader of the Taiyi celestial sect. For this reason, the other old ancestor of the blissful sect, Li An, did not possess a king-grade celestial weapon. Although Duan Lingtian had killed him, he did not obtain a king-grade celestial weapon. Boom! Rumble! As soon as the mysterious runes were added to the huge bell, the purple energy from Duan Lingtian's attack, the purple energy from Duan Lingtian's divine ability, landed on the huge bell's silhouette. Boom! 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 Accompanied by a series of loud noises, the phantom of the huge bell shook. One could clearly see with the naked eye that the obscure runes on the phantom of the huge bell were fading at an extremely fast speed. Some of the runes faded for a while before completely disappearing. I didn't expect your divine ability to have such a strong defense after using a king-grade celestial weapon. Duan Lingtian was surprised that Li Ping was able to give his divine ability such a strong defense. One must know that Li Ping's immovable Wisdom King, in the blink of an eye, was defeated by his attack. Although Duan Lingtian did not use his full strength, he was still able to defeat Li An. Although the power of his slap on the giant bell shadow outside Li Ping's body was somewhat offset by Li Ping's immortal technique Immovable Wisdom King, it was not much weaker than before. If Li Ping's body still had a layer of the golden Buddha shadow transformed by the Akalanatha, this power, at most, would only need to spend half a breath or a breath's time to completely destroy him. But now, the giant bell shadow on Li Ping's body lasted for a few breaths of time. Based on the situation, Duan Lingtian would only be able to defeat the silhouette and kill Li Ping after the runes on the bell's silhouette disappeared. Duan Lingtian. I admit defeat. Duan Lingtian, from today onward, I'm no longer the old ancestor of the blissful sect. I'm no longer a member of the blissful sect. I have nothing to do with the blissful sect. Let me go. Let me go. Li Ping's panicked voice rang in the air. Based on his words, it was clear he was willing to give up the blissful sect for his own life. After all, human nature was pragmatic. In the past, Li Ping might have done his best for the blissful sect. However, now that he was on the brink of death, he had made up his mind to give up his life. In particular, Li Ping had successfully broken through to the Celestial King stage. After leaving the borderlands and heading to the central area, he would have a bright future ahead of him. But once he died here, there would be nothing left. Everything would vanish into thin air. Moreover, if he died, the blissful sect's high-ranking officials would not be able to live as well. The blissful sect would be destroyed as well. At that time, no one would be able to praise him for sacrificing himself for the blissful sect. After thinking through all these, Li Ping still felt that his life was more important than anything else. It's too late. Hearing Li Ping's words that were filled with terror, Duan Lingtian's expression remained calm, his gaze cold, and his tone indifferent. Bang! At the same time, the runes on Li Ping's gigantic bell disappeared. The gigantic bell that had lost its runes was completely destroyed by Duan Lingtian's attack in just half a breath's time. Not even a speck of dust was left behind. In the next moment, boom, 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 boom. After Li Ping's 2 layers of defense were destroyed, Duan Lingtian's attack devoured Li Ping like a ferocious beast. Li Ping, the old ancestor of the blissful sect, was a one basic celestial king. At this moment, Li Ping was dead. Moreover, when Duan Lingtian's attack devoured Li Ping, the purple energy caused the space where Li Ping was standing to tremble. The sound of explosions rang in the air as though it would never stop. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. At the same time, a strong gust of wind blew against the high-ranking officials of the blissful sect, forcing some of the elders with weaker cultivation bases to retreat. Their faces turned pale from the gust of wind. Although the blissful sect's disciples were further away from the battle, most of them were sent flying by the strong wind due to their weaker cultivation bases. Some of them were even injured by the strong wind. In a battle between powerhouses, those with weaker cultivations within a certain radius were destined to be caught in the crossfire. This was unavoidable. Disperse. With just a thought from Duan Lingtian, the purple energy that was still wreaking havoc in the air dissipated. It was as though the purple energy had never appeared in the first place. At the same time, the tension in the air eased a little. Return. When Duan Lingtian raised his hand, a spatial ring and an exquisite little bell in the distant sky were pulled over by his energy. As expected, it's a king-grade celestial weapon. As soon as Duan Lingtian held the small bell, he was certain it was a king-grade celestial weapon. Not bad. On top of that, it can be used together with the blissful sect's defensive divine ability to boost its prowess. It should be able to be used with other defensive divine abilities as well. For example, my East Rising Purple Chi. With this thought in mind, purple energy began to surge out of Duan Lingtian's body. In just a blink of an eye, the purple energy formed a purple light shield around Duan Lingtian's body and enveloped him completely. In the next moment, Duan Lingtian tried to use the exquisite little bell in his hand. Inscriptions extended from the little bell and merged with the purple light shield, causing many clearly visible inscriptions to appear on the purple light shield. I wonder if this king-grade celestial weapon can strengthen the defense of a celestial method. With this thought in mind, Duan Lingtian cast the celestial method he had won from the blissful sect, the immobilization king method. The silhouette of a golden Buddha appeared around Duan Lingtian, shrouding the purple light shield as well. In the next moment, with just a thought in his mind, the rune that extended from the exquisite little bell in his hand instantly passed through the purple light shield and merged with the golden Buddha silhouette. Yes. Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up as soon as he saw this. Duan Lingtian could clearly see inscriptions on the silhouette of the golden Buddha. Apart from that, he could clearly sense the defensive strength of the silhouette of the golden Buddha was much stronger than before. It seems like this is a defensive king-grade celestial weapon, Duan Lingtian thought to himself as he looked at the small bell in his hand. Ever since Duan Lingtian had arrived in the spirit overarching heaven, he had studied the celestial weapons in the Devata realms. He knew the celestial weapons in the Devata realms were divided into several categories. Among them, defensive celestial weapons were most useful in enhancing one's defense. For example, the small bell in his hand was a perfect example. While Duan Lingtian was experimenting with the king-grade celestial weapon, the exquisite little bell, the high-ranking officials and ordinary disciples of the blissful sect did not even dare to move their bodies. All of them were looking at Duan Lingtian anxiously. At this moment, They were deeply afraid their actions would attract Duan Lingtian's attention and bring about a fatal disaster to themselves. After all, even the strongest old ancestor of the blissful sect, Li Ping, had been killed by Duan Lingtian. If this had happened before Li Ping had become a celestial king, they would not have feared Duan Lingtian would annihilate the blissful sect even if Duan Lingtian had killed Li Ping. After all, it was highly likely that the blissful sect still had quasi-celestial kings, hidden in the 6 southeastern regions. However, now that Li Ping, who had become a celestial king, was dead, they knew the purple-clad young man would not be afraid of the quasi-celestial kings hidden in the 6 southeastern regions. Because the strength of those quasi-immortal kings was even inferior to Li Ping who had just died. Chapter 2907. Who is he? Just now, the old ancestor called him Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian? Duan Lingtian. Why does this name sound so familiar? Duan Lingtian? Isn't he the chief celestial alchemist of the Wasteland's Tai Yi celestial sect who became famous during the alchemy conference? That's right. It's him. The chief celestial alchemist of the Wasteland's Tai Yi celestial sect is also called Duan Lingtian. No wonder his name sounds familiar. Is Duan Lingtian the same as Duan Lingtian? You're thinking too much. Put aside the fact that the chief celestial alchemist of the blissful sect is not even 100 years old. He's an outstanding prominent celestial alchemist who's widely acknowledged as the #1 prominent celestial alchemist in the 6 southeastern regions. Even if he's not a celestial alchemist, it's impossible for him to be so strong when he's not even 100 years old. That's right. Duan Lingtian is at least a celestial king. Moreover, he's not an ordinary celestial king. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to kill old ancestor Li Ping so easily. Old ancestor Li Ping even used the 10,000 talismans bell, one of the 2 sect-guarding celestial weapons of the blissful sect. Even then, he still couldn't block Duan Lingtian's attack. I'm afraid Duan Lingtian is at least a 3-talent celestial king. I agree. After all, Duan Lingtian didn't even use a celestial weapon when he attacked. In the distance, a group of blissful sect's disciples whispered among themselves as they looked at Duan Lingtian with a hint of fear in their eyes. Why did he come to the blissful sect? He won't attack us, right? If he attacks us, we'll definitely die. Someone like him won't bother to attack us, right? Since the disciples of the blissful sect did not know the purpose of Duan Lingtian's visit, they were afraid Duan Lingtian would attack them. After witnessing Duan Lingtian's strength, they knew Duan Lingtian's strength was not to be trifled with. If Duan Lingtian wanted to attack them, even the sect leader of the blissful sect would not be able to protect them. After all, even their old ancestor who had just become a celestial king had been killed by Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian's strength was the blissful sect of the blissful sect. If Duan Lingtian, Duan celestial, Duan Lingtian now, it's time to settle the score between us. Duan Lingtian ignored the disciples of the blissful sect. Instead, he looked at the high-ranking officials of the blissful sect, led by Liu Shenkong, the sect leader of the blissful sect. As soon as Duan Lingtian's gaze landed on Liu Shenkong and the other high-ranking officials of the blissful sect, their expressions changed drastically. Duan Lingtian. The reason old ancestor Li and went to the Tai Yi celestial sect to kill you in the wasteland has nothing to do with us or the blissful sect. Please don't misunderstand, an elder from the blissful sect who was standing behind Liu Shenkong said to Duan Lingtian anxiously. Upon hearing this, Liu Shenkong and the other high-ranking officials of the blissful sect nodded in agreement. Although they had agreed to kill Duan Lingtian, they had no choice but to admit it. At this moment, they could not admit to it. If they did, they would definitely die. Even Li Ping, the old ancestor of the blissful sect who had become a celestial king, had died in the hands of Duan Lingtian. If Duan Lingtian wanted to kill them, it would be as easy as killing a chicken. With how easy it was for Duan Lingtian to kill Li Ping, it was impossible for them to even have the chance to escape. With Duan Lingtian's strength, he could easily kill all of them before they could escape. That's right. After a while, another elder of the blissful sect stepped forward and said, Master Duan, we have nothing to do with Li and going to the Tai Yi celestial sect to kill you. He's just trying to seek revenge on you for being too arrogant during the alchemy conference. In the past, he didn't dare to make a move on you for fear that you might be from a powerful clan in the central area. However, after he returned to the blissful sect, he used the sect's intelligence network to investigate you. After confirming that you're not from a powerful clan in the central area, he immediately brought Jifan to kill you. After the elder finished speaking, he looked at Jifan, who was standing behind Duan Lingtian, coldly and said, "You're right. As for Jifan, he's the one who instigated Lian to kill you, Master Duan. He said that we're only trying to shirk responsibility and protect ourselves by holding a meeting to kill you." The elder of the blissful sect looked at Duan Lingtian sincerely, as though he was trying to gain Duan Lingtian's trust. Nonsense. As soon as the elder of the blissful sect finished speaking, Jifan, who had just put the floating image pearl away, looked like a rabbit whose tail had been stepped on. He glared at the elder of the blissful sect and said coldly, "What are you talking about? Elder Yuan, you're spouting nonsense. I admit that I participated in the meeting to kill Master Duan. In fact, I even declared that I wanted to kill Master Duan. However, if you say that I'm the main culprit and want to clear your name, I won't accept it. I won't take the blame for this. It's not my fault, so don't try to make me the scapegoat." When Jifan reached the end of his sentence, his face seemed to be covered with a layer of frost, emitting waves of coldness. "Jifan, you're the culprit, and yet, you're trying to drag us down with you. We didn't offend you in the past, did we? Jifan, you and old ancestor Li and were the ones who insisted on killing Master Duan. What does it have to do with us? Jifan, don't think you can fool Master Duan. With Master Duan's intelligence, how could he not see that you and old ancestor Li and were the ones who insisted on killing Master Duan?" Liu Xiankong, the sect leader of the blissful sect, remained silent. However, the high-ranking officials of the blissful sect pointed at Jifan and shouted. Based on their words, it was obvious they were trying to shift the blame to Jifan. "Master Duan?" The elders called Duan Lingtian Master Duan. Moreover, the elders mentioned that Master Duan is from the Taiyi celestial sect of the Wasteland. Is he really Master Duan from the Taiyi celestial sect of the Wasteland? That's impossible, right? Master Duan isn't even 100 years old, right? It's already amazing that he has such achievements in alchemy even though he's not even 100 years old. Moreover, he's also a celestial king. Is this a joke? The disciples of the blissful sect who were watching from afar were stunned when they heard the elders of the blissful sect addressing Duan Lingtian and mentioning Duan Lingtian's background. As far as they knew, Duan Lingtian was not an ordinary person. Master Duan of the Taiyi celestial sect in the Wasteland was indeed called Duan Lingtian. He was an outstanding prominent celestial alchemist who was not even 100 years old. After the alchemy conference, he was widely acknowledged as the best prominent celestial alchemist in the 6 southeastern regions. Apart from that, they did not know much about Duan Lingtian from the Taiyi celestial sect of the Wasteland. I don't think that's possible. If he's really Master Duan, it's too unbelievable, right? That's right. He's not even 100 years old, but he's not only an outstanding prominent celestial alchemist, but he's also a celestial king. Is it even possible for such a monster to exist in this world? I think it's impossible as well. How can there be such a coincidence? Earlier, the elders mentioned that Duan Lingtian had a feud with old ancestor Li and during the alchemy conference. As far as I know, there's only one person called Duan Lingtian from the Taiyi celestial sect of the Wasteland who attended the alchemy conference, right? Is it possible that he's really Duan Lingtian? This is too unbelievable. As the disciples of the blissful sect discussed among themselves, they were certain that Duan Lingtian was a supreme celestial alchemist. The purple-clad young man in front of them was at least a 3-talents celestial king. He was the chief celestial alchemist of the Taiyi celestial sect of the Wasteland, Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian scoffed when he saw the elders of the blissful sect trying to frame Jifan, causing the elders to shut their mouths immediately. Master Duan. At this moment, Jifan looked at Duan Lingtian and said solemnly, Master Duan, even if you really want to kill me, I, Jifan, still want to say that apart from me, they're also the ones who decided to kill you. Ji-fan said coldly as he looked at the elders of the blissful sect. Ji-fan, you're going to die, and you're going to drag me down with you. Upon hearing Ji-fan's words, the elders of the blissful sect who had fallen silent earlier jumped up in anger. Master Duan, don't believe Ji-fan's words. Ji-fan has nothing left to lose. He just wants to drag a few more people down with him. That's right, Master Duan. Ji-fan's words can't be trusted. Master Duan, the group of blissful sect's elders looked at Duan Lingtian and began to defend themselves. Beads of cold sweat could be seen on their foreheads. Sect leader Liu, do you have anything to say? Duan Lingtian ignored the elders of the blissful sect and looked at Liu Shenkong, the sect leader of the blissful sect, who had remained silent all this while. Master Duan, just as the elders of the blissful sect have said, this matter is the fault of my unfilial disciple, Ji-fan, and my master. Lian Liu Shenkong finally spoke in a deep voice when he heard Duan Lingtian's question. Chapter 2908. Although I wasn't involved in your death, Master Duan, Ji-fan is my direct disciple, and Lian is my master. It's only right for me to bear some responsibility. Liu Shenkong looked at Duan Lingtian and said sincerely, however, I hope you can spare the innocent elders of the blissful sect. Ha ha ha. As soon as Liu Shenkong finished speaking, Ji-fan, who was standing behind Duan Lingtian, could not help but burst out laughing. Liu Shenkong, although I've been your direct disciple for many years, I didn't expect you to be so good at acting. Grandmaster, all of you, and I were the ones who made the decision to kill Master Duan. Now, you're trying to shift the blame to Grandmaster and me. If that's the case, why didn't you explain yourself when I said all of you were the ones who made the decision to kill Master Duan? Why are all of you trying to explain yourself after Master Duan killed Li Ping? Ji-fan sneered when he finished speaking. Master Duan, don't listen to him. Master Duan, he's lying. Upon hearing Ji-fan's words, the elders of the blissful sect grew anxious again. They wanted to defend themselves, but Ji-fan's words did not reach their ears. However, Duan Lingtian was already tired of listening to their excuses. In fact, he knew they were trying to shift the blame when they tried to shift the blame to Duan Lingtian. After all, there was no reason for Ji-fan to lie to him earlier. He had only asked Ji-fan about it after he killed Lian. That was also the time when Ji-fan was the most terrified. At that time, Ji-fan couldn't possibly lie, nor did he have the guts to do so. Duan Lingtian scoffed when the elders of the blissful sect tried to shift the blame to Ji-fan. This cold snort was even colder than the cold snort from before. It made everyone present feel as if they had fallen into an ice cellar. In the next moment, before the high-ranking officials of the blissful sect, including Liu Shenkong, the sect leader of the blissful sect, could react, Duan Lingtian's gaze turned cold. Following that, purple energy surged out of his body, and the silhouette of a golden Buddha appeared. After a few moments, the silhouette of the golden Buddha merged with the purple energy, and the silhouette of the golden Buddha seemed to come to life. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Duan Lingtian waved his hands, and purple palm seals shot out of his hands one after another before they rained down on the high-ranking officials of the blissful sect. No. Liu Shenkong, the sect leader of the blissful sect, only had time to let out an indignant roar before he was drowned by the palm prints and turned into a bloody rain. Since the other high-ranking officials of the blissful sect were sect, they did not even have the chance of Duan Lingtian's death before they could react. Blood rained down from the sky, staining the corpses of the blissful sect's disciples and staining the ground red. At this moment, the air seemed to have solidified. It was only when the blood rained down from the sky and became a part of the ground that the air seemed to have calmed down. However, the air was still filled with the stench of blood, and it was nauseating. The disciples of the blissful sect were no exception. Hiss, 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 hiss. Although the disciples of the blissful sect did not know what had happened, they realized something when they saw Duan Lingtian collecting a large number of spatial rings with just a wave of his hand. They realized that all the high-ranking officials of the blissful sect had been killed. Moreover, the blood on the ground was the best proof of this. For a moment, the disciples of the blissful sect trembled in fear. They wanted to throw up, but they did not dare to do so. They did not want to provoke the purple-clad young man in the distance. How nice would it be if I could always have this kind of power? After collecting the spatial rings of the blissful sect's high-ranking officials, Duan Lingtian stretched out his hands and clenched them a few times. A hint of intoxication could be seen on his face. Although Duan Lingtian's strength today was not as strong as when he was in the Taiyi celestial sect in the wasteland, it was still not as strong as before. After all, he had used his consumable royal-grade celestial weapon. Moreover, the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon would deplete his energy. However, the strength he had displayed today was comparable to a 10 Directions celestial king. With the strength of a 10 Directions celestial king, he easily killed Li Ping, the old ancestor of the blissful sect who had just become a celestial king. Then, he easily killed the high-ranking officials of the blissful sect. At this moment, Duan Lingtian felt as though he had everything under his control. He felt invincible in the 6 southeastern regions and the borderlands. He enjoyed this feeling very much. It's a pity that my strength is depleted every time I use it. Now that I've depleted a lot of energy, I'm afraid my strength is only comparable to an 8 trigram celestial king. Duan Lingtian sighed inwardly. Killing Li Ping and the high-ranking officials of the blissful sect had depleted a lot of his energy. After all, Li Ping and the other high-ranking officials were not weak. He had to expend a lot of energy to kill them. Duan Lingtian sighed inwardly as he stood there in a daze. Meanwhile, Ji Fan, who was standing behind Duan Lingtian, had an anxious expression on his face. After all, he was unsure if Duan Lingtian would kill him after killing the high-ranking officials of the blissful sect. Thus, at this moment, he felt very tormented, extremely tormented. I was too greedy. I'm lucky to have obtained the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon and temporarily possess strength comparable to an ordinary celestial duke. Ordinary people don't even have such an opportunity. Duan Lingtian shook his head when he thought about this. He felt that he had been too greedy. However, if it were anyone else, they would have the same thoughts as Duan Lingtian. There were some things that one had not experienced before. Once one had experienced it, one would not want to lose it again. This was the case for Duan Lingtian at this moment. Among the people who decided to kill me during the meeting, are there any who escaped? After a long while, Duan Lingtian finally regained his senses. He turned to look at Ji Fan and asked. No. Ji Fan was taken aback when he heard Duan Lingtian's question. Then, he shook his head and said, apart from some elders who weren't in the blissful sex estate, the high-ranking officials who attended the meeting in the blissful sex estate are all present. Ji Fan paused for a moment as though he had thought of something. Then, he continued to say, however, there are some who escaped as well. There are some who escaped as well? Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow. For example, me. Ji Fan pointed at himself as he looked at Duan Lingtian anxiously. You. Duan Lingtian glanced at Ji Fan indifferently. He did not dwell on this topic. Instead, he asked, I asked you to use the floating image pearl to record the scene of me killing Li Ping. Did you record it? Although it was an accident that Li Ping had a breakthrough and became a celestial king, he did not move at all when I killed him. Under such circumstances, the floating image pearl, a duke-grade celestial weapon, was able to record the scene of his death. Don't tell me you forgot. If you really forgot to record it, don't blame me for going back on my word and killing you. Duan Lingtian's eyes flashed coldly as he looked at Ji Fan. I did record it. I did record it. Master Duan, I did record it. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Ji Fan hastily nodded and sighed in relief. Now, there's something I need you to do. Duan Lingtian's eyes flashed as he instructed Ji Fan, if you do this well, I won't pursue the enmity between us anymore. However, if you don't do a good job, you should know the consequences. When Duan Lingtian finished speaking, a cold light flashed in his eyes again. Don't worry, Master Duan. I, Ji Fan, will definitely do a good job. I won't disappoint you. Ji Fan promised repeatedly in the face of Duan Lingtian's threat. All right. Duan Lingtian nodded before he turned around and left. He had no intention of bringing Ji Fan with him. Ji Fan heaved a long sigh of relief when he saw Duan Lingtian's back disappearing into the fog. At the same time, He stepped into the air and flew toward the blissful sect's disciples in the distance. The blissful sect's disciples heaved a sigh of relief when they saw Du and Lingtian leaving. However, when they saw Du and Lingtian leaving and Jifan approaching them, their expressions changed immediately. Ahurt! Ahurt! Although their expressions changed, they still greeted Jifan respectfully. It was as though they had not heard Jifan's announcement that he was leaving the blissful sect. Due to the distance, the blissful sect's disciples did not know what Du and Lingtian had told Jifan. Moreover, even if they knew what Du and Lingtian had told Jifan, they knew Jifan would no longer be related to Du and Lingtian after Du and Lingtian left the blissful sect. They still did not dare to act impudently in front of Jifan. After all, Jifan's strength was far stronger than any of them. Most importantly, they thought Jifan was Du and Lingtian's subordinate, a 3-talent celestial king, or someone stronger than a 3-talent celestial king. For this reason, they did not dare to disrespect Jifan at all. I have something that I need all of you to do, Jifan said indifferently as he looked at the blissful sect's disciples. Chapter 2909. Master Duan. Tai Tai He, the supreme elder of the Tai Yi celestial sect, who was waiting outside the blissful sect's estate, was unaware of what was happening in the blissful sect's estate. Only when Du and Lingtian walked out of the mist and appeared in his line of sight did his pair of eyes that were originally as tranquil as an ancient well ripple with circles of ripples. Elder Tai. After a while, Du and Lingtian returned to Tai Tai his side. After greeting Tai Tai he looked at Huan who was still immersed in comprehending celestial methods and divine abilities. Then, he looked at Tai Tai he and said, Elder Tai, I'll have to trouble you to bring us to the general region. As soon as Du and Lingtian finished speaking, his eyes shone brightly. The general region? Tai Tai he was slightly taken aback when he heard Du and Lingtian's words. Master Duan, although the general region is adjacent to the cross region, it's on the other side. Why are you going there? The general region was in the other direction, which was completely opposite to the direction they had taken to return to the desolate region. I'm going to the compassionate celestial traveler sect. Du and Lingtian did not hide the truth from Tai Tai he. For a moment, the light in his eyes that had not completely dimmed suddenly lit up again. It was as dazzling as the stars in the night sky. Before coming to the blissful sect, Du and Lingtian had already made up his mind to visit the compassionate celestial traveler sect. Naturally, he did not intend to bring Murong Bing to the compassionate celestial traveler sect. Du and Lingtian had thought about many things along the way. There was no doubt that Murong Bing was his woman. For this reason, he hoped Murong Bing would be able to live a peaceful life. If Murong Bing left the 6 southeastern regions and the borderlands to the central area with him, she would definitely encounter some unknown dangers. Moreover, Murong Bing had spent most of her life in the compassionate celestial traveler sect. She was used to living in the compassionate celestial traveler sect. All in all, he felt it was a good idea for Murong Bing to stay in the compassionate celestial traveler sect. When he had the ability to rescue his wife, Ke, Li Fei, and his family from the world of divine remains, he would return to the border of the southern heaven territory to take Murong Bing away. 1,000 years later, I will come and take her away, that is, if I'm still alive at that time. Now, what I need to do, is to give her an environment where she can grow up safely and live a good life. On the way to the compassionate celestial traveler sex estate in the general region, Du and Lingtian thought about many things. In the end, he felt he could not selfishly bring Murong Bing along. After all, if he continued on this path, his future was uncertain, and his life and death were unknown. It would not be easy for him to grow strong enough to rescue Ke, Li Fei, and the others from the world of divine remains within 1,000 years. He would have to go through a cruel and dangerous process. He did not want Murong Bing to go through this process with him. The general region was next to the cross region. Therefore, it was much faster to travel from the cross region to the general region compared to traveling from the wasteland to the cross region. Nevertheless, with Tai Tai his speed, it would still take him a few months to reach the cross region. Master Duan. After leaving the blissful sex estate, Tai Tai he could no longer suppress his curiosity and asked Du and Lingtian, when you entered the blissful sex estate, Did you really kill the high-ranking officials of the blissful sect? In Tai his opinion, the blissful sect was one of the top forces in the 6 southeastern regions. Its strength was second only to the profound heaven celestial sect, the strongest sect in the 6 southeastern regions. Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded and said indifferently, apart from Ji Fan, I've killed everyone from the blissful sect who participated in the meeting to kill me, including Liu Xiankong, the sect leader of the blissful sect. Duan Lingtian spoke very calmly as though he was talking about something that had nothing to do with him. It was as though he was casually talking about something that was related to him but was not worth mentioning at all. Gasp. Although Tai he was mentally prepared, he could not help but gasp when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Another high-ranking official from the blissful sect tried to stop me from killing Liu Xiankong and the others, but I killed him as well. Tai he gasped as Duan Lingtian continued to say nonchalantly, that's right. He tried to stop you from killing Liu Xiankong and the others? Tai he was taken aback when he regained his senses. His eyes widened in shock as he asked, Master Duan, are you talking about Li Ping, the old ancestor of the blissful sect? After Tai he regained his senses, it was not difficult for him to guess who Duan Lingtian was referring to. Now that Li An, the old ancestor of the blissful sect, was dead, there were only 2 Nine Palaces celestial dukes left in the blissful sect. One of them was Liu Xiankong, the sect leader of the blissful sect. He was Li An's direct disciple and a 9 Palaces celestial duke. The other person was Li Ping, the old ancestor of the blissful sect. He was a 10 Directions celestial duke and the strongest person in the blissful sect. That's him. Duan Lingtian nodded. Tai he scoffed when he heard Duan Lingtian's confirmation. He's just a 10 Directions celestial duke. How dare he stop you from killing Liu Xiankong and the others? His courting death. A 10 Directions celestial duke? Duan Lingtian shook his head when he heard Tai his words. Elder Tai, you're wrong. Li Ping has broken through and become a celestial king today. Otherwise, he wouldn't have dared to stop me from killing Liu Xiankong and the others. What? Tai he was shocked by Duan Lingtian's words. He asked in disbelief, Master Duan, based on your words, Li Ping, the old ancestor of the blissful sect, has broken through and become a celestial king today? Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded. Master Duan, does this mean Li Ping is a 1 basic celestial king? Tai he looked at Duan Lingtian with his mouth agape. Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded again. At this time, Tai he opened his mouth but couldn't make a sound for a long time. This was because the shock Duan Lingtian brought to him was just too great. It seems like Master Duan is not an ordinary celestial king. Since he's able to kill Li Ping who has broken through and become a celestial king, he must be at least a 2-form celestial king. Tai he thought to himself as he led Duan Lingtian and Huan on their journey. At the same time, he could not help but feel sorry for the blissful sect. Even if the blissful sect survives, I'm afraid it'll be removed from the top sects in the 6 southeastern regions and the borderlands. Once news of Li Ping becoming a celestial king and becoming a celestial king spreads, even the quasi-celestial kings of the blissful sect who live in seclusion in the 6 southeastern regions won't dare to support the blissful sect anymore. After all, they're worried Master Duan will attack them for supporting the blissful sect. Since Master Duan is able to kill a celestial king, it won't be difficult for him to kill them. Tai he was certain of this. He was certain the blissful sect was doomed this time. The reason why the blissful sect ended up like this is because they offended someone they shouldn't have. Duan Lingtian sighed. When Tai he thought of this, he glanced at Duan Lingtian again as his heart trembled. Elder Tai. Duan Lingtian suddenly recalled something. He looked at Tai he and asked, if I'm not mistaken, the profound heaven celestial sect is in the cross region as well, right? Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes when he finished speaking. A cold gleam could be seen in his eyes. He recalled how He Shan, the old ancestor of the Taiyi celestial sect, was killed by Bai Wuji, the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect. At that time, Bai Wuji had used He Shan's death as an excuse to kill Bai Yuxian, the young master of the profound heaven celestial sect. As a result, The Taiyi celestial sect lost an 8 trigrams celestial duke. It would be fine if Bai Yuxian was dead. However, Bai Yuxian was still alive. It was obvious the profound heaven celestial sect had plotted to kill He Shan, the old ancestor of the Taiyi celestial sect. Yes. In fact, he had hoped Duan Ling Tian would avenge He Shan, the old ancestor of the Taiyi celestial sect, who was killed by the profound heaven celestial sect. However, he did not know how to bring it up. After all, Duan Ling Tian was only a revered elder of the Taiyi celestial sect. He was not obligated to avenge the Taiyi celestial sect. Now that he heard Duan Ling Tian mention the profound heaven celestial sect, he knew what Duan Ling Tian was up to. In that case, let's make a trip to the profound heaven celestial sect. When Duan Ling Tian opened his eyes again, his expression that was slightly tense was no longer as tense as before. I'd like to ask Bai Yuxian, the young master of the profound heaven celestial sect, how did he manage to escape from the old ancestor's hands? A sneer appeared on Duan Ling Tian's face when he finished speaking. Yes, Master Duan. Although he had guessed Duan Ling Tian would go to the profound heaven celestial sect to avenge the old ancestor of the Taiyi celestial sect, he could not help but feel excited when he heard Duan Ling Tian's confirmation. Then, he led Duan Ling Tian and Huan to the profound heaven celestial sect's estate. He had been to the profound heaven celestial sect's estate with his master many years ago, so he was familiar with the place. Master Duan, the profound heaven celestial sect is right in front of us. Chapter 29:10. The profound heaven celestial sect was one of the top sects in the borderlands of the Southern Heaven Territory. It was also the strongest sect in the 6 southeastern regions. The profound heaven celestial sect had a strong foundation. Most importantly, the profound heaven celestial sect was one of the strongest sects in the 6 southeastern regions. Some of the top sects in the 6 southeastern regions did not even have a 9 palaces celestial duke, let alone a 10 directions celestial duke. Although some of the top sects had a 9 palaces celestial duke, they did not have a 10 directions celestial duke. For example, the profound heaven celestial sect, the compassionate celestial traveler sect, and the blissful sect were famous sects in the 6 southeastern regions. Apart from the profound heaven celestial sect, there was only one 10 directions celestial duke among these top sects. Even so, their strength was only second to the profound heaven celestial sect in the 6 southeastern regions. There were 3 10 directions celestial dukes in the profound heaven celestial sect. Due to these 3 10 directions celestial dukes, their status in the 6 southeastern regions and even in the borderlands had been established. Naturally, this was only the strength of the top sects in the 6 southeastern regions and the borderlands. Nobody knew if a sect had a quasi-celestial king in seclusion in the borderlands or not. After all, these powerhouses would only show up when the sect was in danger of being annihilated. In the history of the 6 southeastern regions, the Taiyi celestial sect had a quasi-celestial king. There was no lack of similar examples in the history of other regions in the borderlands. Because of this, even in the 6 southeastern regions and the entire borderlands, although there were many weaker top sects, no powerful top sect dared to rashly touch those weaker top sects. This was because those top sects only had weaker members in the current generation. They also had a glorious past and had given birth to many immortal kings. Nobody could be certain that none of the celestial kings who left the top sects were quasi-celestial kings who remained in seclusion in the borderlands. However, in the 6 southeastern regions, even the profound heaven celestial sect did not dare to easily annihilate the weaker top sects for fear of the quasi-celestial kings behind them. Although the profound heaven celestial sect was the strongest sect in the 6 southeastern regions, none of the top sects in the 6 southeastern regions dared to challenge them. Although the sect leaders of the compassionate celestial traveler sect and the blissful sect and the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect were on par with each other, the sect leaders of the blissful sect and the compassionate celestial traveler sect were usually inferior to the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect. After all, as long as the profound heaven celestial sect did not intend to annihilate the other top sects, they would not easily make a move even if they had quasi-celestial kings in the 6 southeastern regions. The profound heaven celestial sect is right ahead. Duan Lingtian knew they had arrived at the profound heaven celestial sect when Tai he came to a halt. Upon hearing Tai his words, Duan Lingtian turned to look ahead. In front of them was a boundless forest. It was a verdant forest. Above this verdant forest, at a height of 10,000 meters, there was a cloud of mist that was clearly different from the other clouds. If Duan Lingtian did not use the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon, with his current strength, he would not have noticed it. However, with just a glance, Duan Lingtian could tell there was something different about the cloud. The profound heaven celestial sect's estate is located 10,000 meters above the forest. There are many celestial beasts in the forest that don't have intelligence and don't know how to fly. For this reason, the profound heaven celestial sect's disciples usually train here. He glanced at the cloud that Duan Lingtian felt was slightly different. Then, he shifted his gaze to the forest in front of him. Duan Lingtian nodded. Let's go and meet Bai Yuxian, the young master of the profound heaven celestial sect, who managed to escape from the old ancestor. I'd like to hear from him about how he managed to escape from the old ancestor. Duan Lingtian said indifferently. As soon as he finished speaking, a powerful and terrifying celestial origin energy surged out of his body and gently shrouded Huan and Tai he. In just a blink of an eye, the three of them seemed to have vanished into thin air. When they reappeared, they were already 10,000 meters above the ground. They had even passed through the fog formed by multiple formations. The fog was the first layer of defense in the profound heaven celestial sect's estate. Even a one basic celestial king would not be able to break through the formation if they were not from the profound heaven celestial sect. As for Duan Lingtian, with his strength that was comparable to an 8 trigram celestial king, he was able to pass through the protective formation easily. Brother Lingtian, it seems like the profound heaven celestial sect's estate is much stronger than the Tai celestial sect's estate. After passing through the fog and entering the profound heaven celestial sect's estate, Duan Lingtian heard Huan voice. A few days ago, Huan had stopped comprehending celestial methods and divine abilities. She did not continue comprehending celestial methods and divine abilities. Upon hearing Huan words, he smiled wryly. He was already used to Huan carefree attitude. After all, the profound heaven celestial sect is the strongest sect in the 6 southeastern regions. Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up when he saw the profound heaven celestial sect's estate. He was taken aback. The profound heaven celestial sect's estate was made of beautiful floating islands. Each of the floating islands had a different shape and structure. The only thing these floating islands had in common was that they were all exquisitely decorated. Even if one looked at them from afar, they were visually stunning and made one feel comfortable. Elder Tai, since we've come from afar, we're guests. I'm here as the chief celestial alchemist of the Tai celestial sect. Duan Lingtian looked at Tai he who was standing next to him and said, therefore, you should greet your friends from the profound heaven celestial sect. Duan Lingtian said with a smile on his face. However, when Duan Lingtian spoke with a smile on his face, a hint of coldness could be seen in the depths of his eyes. When he learned that Bai Yuxian, the young master of the profound heaven celestial sect, was still alive and that He Shan, the old ancestor of the Tai celestial sect, had been framed and killed by the profound heaven celestial sect, he was furious. Although he was not close to He Shan, the Tai celestial sect was still the Tai celestial sect's estate. After all, He Shan was the old ancestor of the Tai celestial sect, and he had a good relationship with Bai Ping, the sect leader of the Tai celestial sect. Therefore, if he had the ability to intervene, he would not stand idly by. All right. He had been waiting for Duan Lingtian to say this. Therefore, as soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, he immediately spoke. His voice that contained his majestic celestial origin energy swept out and shrouded the entire profound heaven celestial sect's estate. I, he, the supreme elder of the Tai celestial sect, am here to visit the profound heaven celestial sect with Master Duan, the chief celestial alchemist of the Tai celestial sect. These were his words. His words caused an uproar in the profound heaven celestial sect's estate. After all, Anyone could tell that Tai he had barged into the profound heaven celestial sect's estate uninvited. If Tai he was a 7-star celestial duke, let alone a 7-star celestial duke, even a 10 directions celestial duke would not be able to hear his voice so clearly. This was because the formation outside the profound heaven celestial sect's estate was soundproof. Only celestial kings and above would be able to transmit their voices to the entire profound heaven celestial sect's estate. Tai he, the supreme elder of the Tai Yi celestial sect, the left guardian of Dharma of the Tai Yi celestial sect who had recently become a 7-star celestial duke? Based on his words, it seems like he didn't inform the profound heaven celestial sect beforehand. Did he barge into the profound heaven celestial sect uninvited? He's just a 7-star celestial duke. How dare he? He seems to have come with Duan Lingtian, the chief celestial alchemist of the Tai Yi celestial sect. Is it possible that Duan Lingtian gave him the confidence to do so? Even the former number 1 prominent celestial alchemist in the 6 southeastern regions, Sun Chao, can only wait outside. Even if Duan Lingtian has replaced Sun Chao as the number 1 prominent celestial alchemist in the 6 southeastern regions, he still doesn't have the right to barge into the profound heaven celestial sect. When Tai his voice resounded in the profound heaven celestial sect's estate, many disciples of the profound heaven celestial sect felt that Duan Lingtian and Tai he were being rude. Tai he? Duan Lingtian is here as well? Why are they here? Bai Wuji, the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect, raised an eyebrow when he heard Tai his voice. Duan Lingtian and Tai he had barged into the profound heaven celestial sect uninvited. Moreover, based on Tai his tone, it seemed like they were here to look for trouble. Although Bai Wuji knew Tai he and Duan Lingtian were here to look for trouble, he did not plan to personally meet them. After all, he was a prominent figure in the profound heaven celestial sect. Let's go. Let's meet Tai he from the Tai Yi celestial sect. I'd like to see where he got the confidence to barge into the profound heaven celestial sect. A mere 7 stars celestial duke dares to act so arrogantly. I'd like to see if he still dares to act so arrogantly in front of an 8 trigram celestial duke like he did earlier. Does he really think he can do as he pleases just because he has a brat by his side who's widely acknowledged as the number 1 prominent celestial alchemist in the 6 southeastern regions? Today, I'd like to see how Tai he will give us an explanation for his rash actions today. Bai Wuji, the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect, did not plan to meet Duan Lingtian and Tai he personally. Chapter 29:11. There were many beautiful floating islands in the profound heaven celestial sect's encampment. They looked like holy and ethereal islands. At the highest point of the profound heaven celestial sect's estate, there were 3 small islands. Each of the 3 islands only had a courtyard and a house. The houses looked simple, but they were filled with flowers and plants. Tai he, the supreme elder of the Tai Yi celestial sect, and Master Duan, the chief celestial alchemist of the Tai Yi celestial sect, have come to visit the profound heaven celestial sect. When Tai his voice resounded in the profound heaven celestial sect's estate, the 3 people who lived on the 3 small islands stopped what they were doing when they heard Tai his voice. One of the people who was drinking tea at a stone table in the courtyard stopped what he was doing when he heard Tai his voice. Tai he? The guardian of the Tai Yi celestial sect who became a 7 stars celestial duke a few years ago. The person who was drinking tea was an old man dressed in a white robe. He was skinny and looked like an immortal. At that moment, the old man had a calm expression on his face as he muttered to himself. Clearly, he did not take Tai seriously at all. In the courtyard of another small island nearby, a middle-aged man was originally lying on the lawn of the courtyard, resting with his eyes closed. When he suddenly heard Tai-Taiha's voice, he stood up and sat on the lawn, muttering to himself, "Brother Tai-Taiha." He muttered to himself, "A mere 7 stars celestial duke dares to act so presumptuously in the profound heaven celestial sect. He's seeking death." After muttering to himself, the middle-aged man's eyes suddenly flashed with a cold light, giving people the feeling that winter had arrived. It was to the extent that even the blue robes on his body began to flutter at this moment. It was as though a cold wind was blowing at him. In the courtyard of the last small island, a middle-aged man dressed in a green robe who was watering the flowers paused for a moment when he heard Tai his voice. His expression remained unchanged from the beginning until the end. It was as though he would remain calm even if Mount Tai collapsed in front of him. If someone saw this middle-aged man dressed in a green robe and the middle-aged man dressed in a blue robe, they would definitely notice that the two of them looked identical. The two of them looked exactly the same. Other than the difference in their temperaments, there was nothing different about them. In the outer region of the profound heaven celestial sect's estate. As soon as Tai he finished speaking, he, Duan Lingtian, and Huan were surrounded by a group of patrolling disciples from the profound heaven celestial sect. The patrolling disciples of the profound heaven celestial sect looked at Tai he with a hint of fear in their eyes. Although Tai his cultivation base was not worth mentioning in the eyes of the powerful high-ranking officials in the profound heaven celestial sect, however, with Tai his cultivation base, he was a deterrent to the patrolling disciples of the profound heaven celestial sect. A 7-star immortal monarch was sufficient to sweep through all of them without the slightest effort. If they were not worried about being questioned by the patrolling elders, they would not have dared to surround Tai he and his two companions before the powerful high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect arrived. This was because there was a huge risk involved. As long as Tai attacked them, there was almost no chance of them surviving. Tai he, the supreme elder of the Tai celestial sect of the wasteland, seems like he came with ill intentions. I hope he won't attack us because of the profound heaven celestial sect's strength. The patrolling disciples from the profound heaven celestial sect thought to themselves. At the same time that this thought appeared in their minds, their hearts were also a little uneasy and incomparably perturbed. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. After a while, the sound of wind whistling could be heard as a group of people flew over from all directions in the profound heaven celestial sect's estate. The patrolling disciples from the profound heaven celestial sect heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, they looked at Tai he in a different light. As it turned out, when they looked at Tai he, their eyes were filled with dread and anxiety. When they looked at Tai her again, their gazes were filled with pity and schadenfreude. Elder Hong is here. He's an 8 trigrams celestial duke. Elder Qi is here as well. He's also an 8 trigrams celestial duke. Elder Huang, Elder Qiu, and Elder Chen are all 7 stars celestial dukes. This time, I'm afraid Tai he, the supreme elder of the Tai celestial sect, is in trouble. Not only in the profound heaven celestial sect, but in any other sect, it's taboo to trespass on a sect's estate. When the patrolling disciples from the profound heaven celestial sect saw the group of high-ranking officials from the profound heaven celestial sect, they were relieved that Tai he and his two companions were in trouble. The high-ranking officials from the profound heaven celestial sect were led by an old man and a middle-aged man. The old man was dressed in a long green robe and had a cold expression on his face. He was none other than Elder Hong. Moreover, according to the patrolling disciples from the profound heaven celestial sect, he was an 8 trigrams celestial duke. The middle-aged man was wearing a long, light grey robe and had a jade-like complexion. However, when he arrived at this area, he stopped in a timely manner. When he looked at Tai, his eyes were filled with ice-cold light. He was none other than the other 8 trigrams celestial duke mentioned by the patrolling disciples from the profound heaven celestial sect, Elder Qi. Tai he, as the supreme elder of the Tai celestial sect, you'll have to give the profound heaven celestial sect an explanation for barging into our sect's estate, Elder Hong said coldly as he looked at Tai he with a dark expression. That's right. Elder Qi looked at Tai he coldly and said, Tai he, as the supreme elder of the Tai celestial sect, you should know that trespassing on a sect's estate is taboo, right? I'm sure the Tai celestial sect doesn't allow outsiders to barge into their sect's estate, right? Elder Qi stared at Tai he. As he spoke, his gaze became increasingly cold. Tai he, if you can't give the profound heaven celestial sect an explanation for what happened today, you can forget about leaving. That's right. If you can't give us an explanation, Elder Hong and Elder Chi won't even have to make a move. We're more than enough to make you stay in the profound heaven celestial sect forever. Tai Tai He, you'll have to pay for your impulsiveness. After Elder Hong and Elder Chi, who were the strongest among the high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect, the other high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect also glared at Tai Tai He. Their words were not polite at all. It was to the extent that most of the people's words revealed bursts of cold killing intent. Tai Tai He was slightly taken aback when he heard the high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect. Based on their words, it seemed like they thought he was the one who trespassed into the profound heaven celestial sect's estate. However, Tai Tai He did not respond to the high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect. Instead, he moved to stand behind Duan Lingtian, as though he was the leader of the profound heaven celestial sect. The elders of the profound heaven celestial sect were stunned by Tai Tai He's actions. At this moment, Duan Lingtian took a step forward and glanced at the high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect indifferently before he said nonchalantly, he said calmly, "The one who trespassed into the profound heaven celestial sect's estate isn't Elder Tai, it's me. I'm here today to listen to Bai Yu Xian, the young master of the profound heaven celestial sect, tell me how he managed to escape when he Shan, the old ancestor of the Tai Yi celestial sect, tried to kill her." When Duan Lingtian reached the end of his sentence, his eyes flashed coldly. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, many high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect scoffed. "You? Trespassing into the profound heaven celestial sect's estate? Do you think you're strong enough to do that?" "That's right. Although you're a rare genius in alchemy, you're only an overarching heavenly supreme celestial, right? An overarching heavenly supreme celestial like you won't be able to break through the formations in the profound heaven celestial sect's estate. Do you think we're stupid?" The high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect looked at Duan Lingtian as though he was an idiot. "Everyone, haven't you heard about the news from the blissful sect? Although Master Duan from the Tai Yi celestial sect is talented in alchemy and the celestial path, he fabricated his identity and background. I've heard about this before. Me. How trustworthy can a person who fabricated his identity be? He's nothing but a liar." When one of the high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect mentioned that Duan Lingtian had fabricated his identity and background, many of the high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect scoffed at Duan Lingtian and looked at Duan Lingtian with disdain. "I'll give you 3 breaths to leave," Duan Lingtian suddenly spoke. His voice was indifferent, drowning out the voices of the high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect. "If none of you leave after 3 breaths, call Bai Yu Xian, the young master of the profound heaven celestial sect, over here. I'll kill one of you. 3 breaths after I kill that person, if no one leaves this place, go and call Bai Yu Xian over. I will kill another person." And so on and so forth. Duan Lingtian's tone was calm as though he was talking about something insignificant. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, the entire place fell silent. After a while, the high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect finally regained their senses and burst out laughing. Chapter 29:12. He's just an overarching heavenly supreme celestial. How dare he say that? He must have lost his mind. How dare an overarching heavenly supreme celestial threaten to kill us if we don't cooperate with him? I'd like to see, who among us will he kill after 3 breaths of time, and who will he be able to kill? Now that 1 breath has passed, there are only 2 breaths left. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, the high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect burst into laughter. Based on their words, they felt Duan Lingtian was being ridiculous. Their eyes were filled with disdain and mockery when they looked at Duan Lingtian again. Although Elder Hong and Elder Chi, who were the leaders of the profound heaven celestial sect, did not say anything, they looked at Duan Lingtian with disdain as well. His Duan Lingtian, the chief celestial alchemist of the Tai Yi celestial sect in the wasteland? The person whose name spread throughout the 6 southeastern regions after the alchemy conference? Yes, that's him. After the alchemy conference, He's widely acknowledged as the #1 prominent celestial alchemist in the 6 southeastern regions. It's said that he's not even 100 years old, and he's an overarching heavenly supreme celestial. It's undeniable that he's able to achieve such a feat in alchemy within the age of 100. It's also undeniable that he's able to break through and become an overarching heavenly supreme celestial before the age of 100. However, I really don't understand how a mere overarching heavenly supreme celestial like him has the guts to say such words. How dare he ask the elders to cooperate with him? Moreover, if the elders don't cooperate after the span of 3 breaths, he'll kill one of the elders? Is he crazy? In the past, the blissful sect hasn't spread the news about him. Fortunately, the elders have to be wary of the major clans in the central area. Now that they've confirmed he's not from a major clan in the central area, there's no need for them to be wary of him anymore. He's digging his own grave by acting like this. Could it be that he still doesn't know that the blissful sect has investigated him thoroughly? He definitely doesn't know about it. If he knew, why would he be so arrogant? The high-ranking officials of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect laughed when they heard Duan Lingtian's words. Meanwhile, the patrolling disciples of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect began to whisper among themselves. Based on their words, they felt Duan Lingtian was spouting nonsense. More people thought that Duan Lingtian was going to be in trouble. 3 breaths of time is up. Duan Lingtian's voice rang out once again. His voice was not loud, but once it rang out, it seemed to possess some sort of magical power that instantly suppressed the noise in the area. 3 breaths of time is up. I want to see which one of us you want to kill. An elder from the Profound Heaven Celestial sect stepped forward and looked at Duan Lingtian disdainfully as he said, "My strength is only average among the elders of the blissful sect. I'm only a 6 combinations celestial duke. Why don't you try and kill me?" A hint of mockery could be seen on the elder's face when he finished speaking. Many elders and disciples of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect looked at Duan Lingtian mockingly as well. A bunch of idiots. Tai, he glanced at the people from the Profound Heaven Celestial sect and shook his head when he saw the people from the Profound Heaven Celestial sect were unmoved by Duan Lingtian's words. A hint of sorrow could be seen in his eyes. He felt sorry for the people from the Profound Heaven Celestial sect. "I was just thinking about who to kill first. Since you're so eager to die, I'll fulfill your wish." As soon as the elder of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect finished speaking, Duan Lingtian turned to look at him. Killing intent flashed in the depths of Duan Lingtian's eyes. It was so terrifying that it seemed to be able to freeze one's soul. Before the people from the Profound Heaven Celestial sect could react, Duan Lingtian's words left their mouths. Under everyone's watchful eyes, the elder of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect, who claimed to be a 6 combination celestial duke, suddenly clasped his hands around his neck. His face was so red that it seemed as though blood was about to drip out of it. His facial features were contorted as though he was in excruciating pain. What's going on? Everyone was shocked when they saw this. Even the elders of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect, who were disdainful of Duan Lingtian earlier, had a grave expression on their faces. Bang! At this moment, a loud explosion rang in the air and everyone was shocked by the Profound Heaven Celestial sect's elder's strange actions and his face that was as red as blood. At the same time, they saw the elder from the Profound Heaven Celestial sect. The elder from the Profound Heaven Celestial sect who had insulted Duan Lingtian earlier suddenly exploded into a rain of blood, leaving behind a spatial ring that fell to the ground. Swoosh! The storage ring fell from the sky for a moment, then it was pulled by an invisible force and flew to a certain place. Duan Lingtian raised his hand and put it away. Swoosh! 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 The high-ranking officials of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect finally regained their senses when they saw Duan Lingtian taking the spatial ring of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect's elder. Their expressions changed drastically as they inhaled sharply. When they looked at Duan Lingtian again, a hint of fear could be seen in their eyes. The 2 8-trigram celestial dukes, Elder Hong and Elder Qi, glanced at Duan Lingtian fearfully before they began to scan their surroundings. It was as though they were trying to find a hidden powerhouse in the surroundings. Although the elder from the profound heaven celestial sect who had been killed was only a 6 combination celestial duke, both of them could easily kill him. However, they knew they were not capable of killing the profound heaven celestial sect's elder in such a bizarre manner. I'm afraid only a powerhouse like the sect leader would be able to kill a 6 combination celestial duke with such a bizarre method, right? Elder Hong looked at Elder Qi and asked through voice transmission. At the same time, he looked at Elder Qi with a fearful gaze. I agree. Only a 9 palaces celestial duke or stronger would be able to kill a 6 combination celestial duke with such a bizarre method. Even we didn't notice it since we weren't on guard, Elder Qi replied through voice transmission. In Elder Qi's opinion, with his and Elder Hong's strength, they would be able to detect a 9 palaces celestial duke if they were on guard. After all, they were 8 trigrams celestial dukes. However, based on their previous state, it was only natural that they would not be able to detect a 9 palaces celestial duke's attack. For this reason, they speculated that the person hiding in the dark might be stronger than a 9 palaces celestial duke or a 9 palaces celestial duke. What's going on? Tihi's dead. Elder Peng is a 6 combinations celestial duke, right? A 6 combinations celestial duke died just like that. Is Duan Lingtian the culprit? The expressions of the profound heaven celestial sect's patrolling disciples changed drastically. When they looked at Duan Lingtian again, they were no longer filled with disdain and mockery. Instead, they were filled with shock and confusion. However, when some of the profound heaven celestial sect's elders followed Elder Hong and Elder Qi's gazes, they could guess what the elders were thinking. It seems like there's a hidden powerhouse behind this. Isn't it said that Duan Lingtian's identity as a disciple of a powerful clan in the central area is fake? The blissful sect went to great lengths to investigate this matter. That's right. How do you explain what happened earlier? At this moment, not only were the patrolling disciples confused, but even the high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect were confused as well. Very good. Another 3 breaths have passed. Duan Lingtian did not expect no one would call by Yu Xian, the young master of the profound heaven celestial sect, out even after he had killed a 6 combinations celestial duke. He could not help but narrow his eyes. Initially, the people from the profound heaven celestial sect did not take Duan Lingtian's threat seriously. However, after Duan Lingtian said 3 breaths had passed, the death of the 6 combinations celestial duke shocked the people from the profound heaven celestial sect. They began to take Duan Lingtian's threat seriously. During the next 3 breaths, the elders from the profound heaven celestial sect were not afraid of Duan Lingtian. It was just that they did not have time to react. However, when they heard Duan Lingtian's voice again, their expressions changed again. At this moment, Duan Lingtian's voice sounded like the voice of the Grim Reaper, causing them to shudder involuntarily. Duan Lingtian scoffed. In just a blink of an eye, he appeared in front of the old man, Elder Hong, who was the leader of the high-ranking officials from the blissful sect. Based on the reactions of the people from the blissful sect, Duan Lingtian and the others from the profound heaven celestial sect were suspicious. These people thought the death of the 6 combinations celestial duke from the profound heaven celestial sect was caused by a hidden powerhouse. For this reason, Duan Lingtian decided to show these people his true strength. An 8 trigrams celestial duke. Duan Lingtian appeared out of thin air in front of Elder Hong. Elder Hong only regained his senses when he heard Duan Lingtian's question. His expression changed again, and his eyes widened in shock and fear. How fast? Chapter 29:13. An 8 trigrams celestial duke. Duan Lingtian asked indifferently as he appeared in front of the 8 trigrams celestial duke of the profound heaven celestial sect. The expressions of Elder Hong and Elder Qi from the profound heaven celestial sect changed drastically when they saw Duan Lingtian's expression. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Without any warning, a dazzling purple light shot out of Duan Lingtian's body and transformed into purple ribbons in just a blink of an eye. Before Elder Hong could even react, the ribbons had already bound his limbs. The high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect only regained their senses after Elder Hong was bound by the purple ribbons. When they regained their senses, they saw Duan Ling Tian binding Elder Hong. No matter how hard Elder Hong struggled, he could not break free from Duan Ling Tian's energy. Instantly, their pupils constricted. How's this possible? Heavens! Am I dreaming? I can't believe I just saw Duan Ling Tian, a Tai Yi celestial sect alchemist who's not even 100 years old, binding Elder Hong. Moreover, based on Elder Hong's current state, it seems like he's still unable to break free from Duan Ling Tian's restraint. Isn't he an overarching heavenly supreme celestial? How can a mere overarching heavenly supreme celestial be so strong? Are you kidding me? This is too inconceivable. The high-ranking officials of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect were shocked by this scene. Meanwhile, the patrolling disciples of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect, who had just regained their senses, were stunned as well. Similarly, they were shocked by the scene that had just unfolded before their eyes. Were you the one who made the move? When Elder Qi, who was standing beside Elder Hong, looked at Duan Ling Tian again, his eyes were filled with dread and terror. He knew the person who killed the Profound Heaven Celestial sect's 6 combinations Celestial Duke was not a powerhouse hiding in the dark. It was the purple-clad young man standing before him, the chief celestial alchemist of the Tai Yi celestial sect, Duan Ling Tian. Moreover, he also realized that Duan Ling Tian was not just a 9 Palaces Celestial Duke. A 9 Palaces Celestial Duke did not have the ability to force Elder Hong, who was on par with him, into such a predicament. Only a 10 Directions Celestial Duke or a 10 Directions Celestial Duke was capable of restraining Elder Hong so easily. Therefore, he concluded that Duan Ling Tian was not an overarching heavenly supreme celestial but a 10 Directions Celestial Duke. Naturally, he only dared to guess that Duan Ling Tian was a 10 Directions Celestial Duke. He did not dare to guess that Duan Ling Tian was a celestial king. The fact that a person who was not even 100 years old was able to become a 10 Directions Celestial Duke was enough to shock him. An immortal king expert who wasn't even 100 years old? He didn't even dare to think about it. What do you think? Faced with Elder Qi's question, Duan Ling Tian turned his head slightly and glanced at him indifferently. As soon as Duan Ling Tian finished speaking, he waved his hand at Elder Hong from the Profound Heaven Celestial sect who was tied up by him. Although Duan Ling Tian's action seemed casual, Elder Hong's eyes widened in anger. No! Elder Hong's shrill cry rang in the Profound Heaven Celestial sect's ears as soon as it rang in the air. It was as though there was magic in his voice. At the same time, the people present on the scene saw Duan Ling Tian's attack. As Duan Ling Tian waved his right hand, a purple energy that resembled flames surged out and annihilated Elder Hong in just a blink of an eye. When the purple energy dissipated, only a spatial ring was left in Elder Hong's original spot. Then, Duan Ling Tian casually put it away. After Duan Ling Tian put Elder Hong's spatial ring away, he glanced at the high-ranking officials of the blissful sect. Elder Qi and the others were shocked when they saw Duan Ling Tian. Fear and dread could be seen in their eyes. If no one summons the young master of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect in 3 breaths, I'll kill another person. Elder Qi and the others were shocked when they heard Duan Ling Tian's words. Horror dawned on them. Master Duan. Elder Qi immediately looked at Duan Ling Tian and said solemnly, the young master of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect is currently facing the wall in the Profound Heaven Cliff. The sect leader has ordered him to face the wall in the Profound Heaven Cliff for 10 years as punishment for Hishan's death. Face the wall? 10 years. Duan Ling Tian was slightly taken aback when he heard Elder Qi's words. Then, he sneered and said, Sect leader Bai Wu Ji of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect is really good at keeping up appearances. What's the difference between facing the wall for 10 years and not being punished at all? Also, now, 3 breaths of time have passed. As soon as Duan Ling Tian finished speaking, he turned to look at Elder Qi with killing intent in his eyes. Elder Qi's expression changed drastically. Just as Duan Ling Tian was about to kill Elder Qi, a voice rang in the air. Stop! Stop! A few angry voices rang in the air. Following that, 3 figures streaked across the sky like 3 bolts of lightning. In just a blink of an eye, they arrived at the area where Duan Ling Tian and the others were. Moreover, they appeared in front of Elder Qi, who was about to kill Duan Ling Tian. Greetings, old ancestors. When the three of them appeared, Elder Qi, who was initially terrified by Duan Lingtian, felt as though he had just ascended to heaven from hell. He heaved a long sigh of relief and did not forget to salute the three people who had just arrived. Among the three people who had just arrived, there was an old man and two middle-aged men. The old man was dressed in a white robe. He was skinny and looked like a celestial being. As for the other two middle-aged men, one was dressed in a blue robe while the other was dressed in a green robe. Based on their appearances, it was not difficult to tell they were twins. Greetings, old ancestors. Greetings, old ancestors. After Elder Qi bowed, the high-ranking officials of the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect and the patrolling disciples of the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect bowed respectfully at the old man and the two middle-aged men. Based on their words, they revealed their identities. They were none other than the three old ancestors of the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect. The three old ancestors of the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect were the three 10 Directions Celestial Dukes of the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect. Due to them, the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect was widely acknowledged as the strongest sect in the 6 southeastern regions. Swoosh. Just as the three old ancestors of the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect arrived, the sound of whistling wind rang from afar. Following that, a figure that could be considered familiar to Duan Lingtian appeared in a timely manner. Bai Wuji, the sect leader of the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect. Duan Lingtian recognized Bai Wuji before the newcomer arrived. His eyes narrowed as a cold glint flashed in his eyes. Bai Wuji was the one who had killed He Shan, the old ancestor of the Taiyi Celestial Sect. Greetings, senior granduncle and junior uncles. After a few moments, Bai Wuji appeared behind the three old ancestors of the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect and bowed respectfully. The old ancestor was the white-haired old man with a ruddy complexion. As for the twins, they were his junior uncles. Sect leader. At the same time, Elder Qi, the high-ranking officials of the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect, and the patrolling disciples of the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect bowed respectfully at Bai Wuji. Bai Wuji, the sect leader of the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect, and the three old ancestors of the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect, were attracted by Elder Hong's cry. Now that they had arrived, they learned about the ins and outs of the matter from Elder Qi and the others. At this moment, Bai Wuji and the three old ancestors of the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect looked at Duan Lingtian in a different light. Based on Elder Qi's words, based on Duan Lingtian's strength, he was at least a 10 Directions Celestial Duke. Master Duan. Bai Wuji, the sect leader of the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect, took a deep breath and took a step forward. He looked at Duan Lingtian solemnly and said, "I'm deeply sorry for killing your old ancestor, He Shan. At that time, I really thought he had killed my son, Bai Yuxian. When I found out my son wasn't killed by your old ancestor, I felt extremely guilty. Therefore, I personally sent someone to compensate your sect. However, I was rejected by your sect leader. I'm aware of that as well. The Profound Heaven Celestial Sect owes your sect. How about this? If you have any requests, as long as it's within our means, we'll agree to it." It was clear Bai Wuji was willing to compromise when he spoke. Although he did not believe Duan Lingtian was strong enough to kill a 10 Directions Celestial Duke. However, everyone in the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect had witnessed Duan Lingtian's strength. Therefore, Bai Wuji had no choice but to believe Duan Lingtian's words. A 10 Directions Celestial Duke. A 10 Directions Celestial Duke? Bai Wuji's heart skipped a beat as he looked at Duan Lingtian. Request. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly when he heard Bai Wuji's words. You're so straightforward, sect leader Bai. Wouldn't everything have been fine if you had said this earlier? Well, I do have a request. Moreover, it's only a small request for you and the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect. Duan Lingtian said. I'd like to hear the details. Although Duan Lingtian's words were simple, Bai Wuji had a bad feeling about this. My request is, hand over Bai Yuxian, the young master of the Profound Heaven Celestial Sect. If I'm not mistaken, Bai Yuxian is your son, right? It shouldn't be difficult for you to hand him over, right? Duan Lingtian said as he looked at Bai Wuji meaningfully. Swoosh. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Bai Wuji's expression changed drastically. A hint of hesitation could be seen in his eyes. Chapter 29:14. Bai Wuji, the sect leader of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect, knew that Duan Lingtian was a powerful Ten-Direction Celestial Duke. Even if the Profound Heaven Celestial sect had 3 Ten-Direction Celestial Dukes, they might not be able to kill Duan Lingtian. Moreover, how could a Ten-Direction Celestial Duke who was not even 100 years old not have a powerful background? How could such a person exist among sectless cultivators? Bai Wuji was deeply skeptical. For this reason, he knew the Profound Heaven Celestial sect might not be able to kill Duan Lingtian. Even if they were able to kill Duan Lingtian, they would have to consider the consequences. Under such circumstances, he hoped the matter could be resolved peacefully. For this reason, he had asked Duan Lingtian to make a request. However, he did not expect Duan Lingtian would ask him to hand over his son. This put him in a difficult position. On one hand, his son was his only son. Naturally, he did not want anything to happen to his son. On the other hand, if he did not agree to Duan Lingtian's request, there would be no turning back. For this reason, he was in a difficult position. Bai Wuji, the sect leader of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect, was at a loss for words when one of the old ancestors of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect, one of the twin brothers, scoffed. "Master Duan, my junior nephew is giving you face by allowing you to make a request. However, you shouldn't cross the line." The green-robed middle-aged man snorted coldly as he glanced at Duan Lingtian. He could vaguely guess what Bai Wuji was worried about. "Cross the line?" Duan Lingtian laughed when he heard the green-clad middle-aged man's words. "What are you laughing at?" The green-robed middle-aged man's expression turned grave when he saw Duan Lingtian laughing. His grave expression seemed to be covered with a layer of frost at this moment. "Do I need to report to you what I'm laughing at?" Faced with the green-robed middle-aged man's question, Duan Lingtian glanced at him indifferently and asked indifferently. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, the green-robed middle-aged man was instantly enraged. His eyes were burning with rage as if they could burn everything. Since he had become a Ten-Direction Celestial Duke and the old ancestor of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect, he had never been treated like this before. "Who do you think you are?" Duan Lingtian's voice continued. It was precisely Duan Lingtian's next sentence that completely infuriated the green-robed middle-aged man, causing him to suddenly roar. "Today, I, Juming, would like to see just how much weight you, a brat who isn't even 100 years old, have to actually dare to speak to me like this." As soon as the green-clad middle-aged man finished speaking, his celestial origin energy surged out of his body like a ball of flame. His celestial origin energy turned purplish red. Clearly, he had cast the Profound Heaven Celestial sect's Duke-grade divine ability, the Eastern Purple Chi. It was the divine ability that Duan Lingtian had won from the Profound Heaven Celestial sect. "Brat, try to take my sword." Following the green-robed middle-aged man's roar, the purple torrent of energy on his body suddenly gathered together and finally turned into a sword, a completely purple sword. As soon as the green-robed middle-aged man finished speaking, the sword suddenly shot out and left a huge visible sword mark in the void with a swoosh. This sword scar was so big that it gave people a visual shock. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. After the gigantic purple sword left a gigantic sword mark in the air, it suddenly scattered and transformed into tens of thousands of purple sword rays that shot toward Duan Lingtian. However, when they were still a distance away from Duan Lingtian, the tens of thousands of sword rays merged into one again and merged into a sword. However, this time, the sword was no longer as huge as the first one. Its size was even smaller than the smallest sword ray among the tens of thousands of sword rays earlier. However, its entire body was blackish purple in color. Furthermore, its entire body was glowing with purple light. Swoosh. As soon as the sword took form, its speed increased tremendously. It was much faster than an ordinary Ten-Direction Celestial Duke as it charged toward Duan Lingtian. Only the other two old ancestors of the Profound Heaven Celestial sect could clearly see the green-clad middle-aged man's attack. Bai Wuji, the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect, was a 9 palaces celestial duke. Elder Chi, the 8 trigram celestial duke, could only vaguely see the purple sword ray flash before his eyes. Good, good. Very good. Duan Lingtian did not expect Zhu Ming, one of the 3 old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect, would make the first move. His eyes turned cold as he sneered. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Faced with Zhu Ming's ferocious attack, a purple light burst out of Duan Lingtian's body. It was as though a ball of purple flames was burning on his body, emitting a terrifying aura. In the next moment, Duan Lingtian, who was shrouded in purple flames, suddenly moved. At this moment, Duan Lingtian disappeared before everyone's eyes. Even the 3 old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect, by Wu Ji, the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect, could no longer see Duan Lingtian's figure. It was as though Duan Lingtian had vanished into thin air. Before the 3 old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect could even react to Duan Lingtian's disappearance. How's this possible? Is this Duan Lingtian's technique? In their eyes, the black-purple sword ray that was charging toward Duan Lingtian seemed to have been caught by an invisible hand and stopped in mid-air. Immediately, the space where the black-purple sword light stopped trembled. Water-like ripples spread out. Then, waves of terrifying aura extended out. Following that, they saw the black-purple sword ray flying toward Zhu Ming. After the black-purple sword beam paused, it strangely changed directions and rushed toward Zhu Ming. It's Duan Lingtian. How can he be so fast? He actually caught Brother Ming's attack with his bare hands. When the black-purple sword ray changed directions, the 2 old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect and Bai Wu Ji, the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect, were shocked. At the same time that the black-purple sword light changed direction, a figure clearly appeared beside the sword light. It was none other than Duan Lingtian, who seemed to have vanished into thin air earlier. Duan Lingtian grabbed the black-purple sword ray with one hand. No matter how hard the black-purple sword ray struggled, it could not break free from Duan Lingtian's grasp. At this moment, the black-purple sword ray was like a dragon that could not break free from Duan Lingtian's grasp. Swoosh! Duan Lingtian held the black-violet sword ray in his hand as his figure flashed and charged towards Zhu Ming. Although Duan Lingtian's strength had weakened compared to when he was in the blissful sect, his strength was still comparable to an 8 trigram celestial king. He had easily blocked Zhu Ming, the old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect, who was a 10 directions celestial duke, without using a king-grade celestial weapon. Not only did he block it, but he also held Zhu Ming's attack in his hands, preventing it from exploding or dissipating. The strength of a celestial king far surpasses the strength of a celestial duke. Moreover, my celestial origin energy is comparable to an 8 trigrams celestial king's celestial origin energy. How can a mere 10 directions celestial duke compare to me? Duan Lingtian could clearly sense that Zhu Ming's attack was nothing compared to Duan Lingtian's attack. Zhu Ming's attack was like a mosquito bite to Duan Lingtian, it could not be moved at all. The strength of an 8 trigrams celestial king was enough to easily crush a 10 directions celestial duke. A 10 directions celestial duke from the profound heaven celestial sect is only SOSO. In just a blink of an eye, Duan Lingtian arrived in front of Zhu Ming. He smirked coldly and left these words behind. The moment his words left his mouth, Duan Lingtian raised his hand and grabbed the blackish-purple sword ray that Zhu Ming condensed with his right hand before grabbing it. The black-purple sword ray was instantly crushed into pieces. In just a blink of an eye, it disappeared into thin air. In the next moment, Duan Lingtian's right hand that was clenched tightly because he had shattered the black-violet sword ray formed a fist and swung it towards Zhu Ming. At the same time, on Duan Lingtian's right fist, apart from the purple energy that was raging and skyrocketing, there was also a layer of golden light that was faintly discernible. Upon closer inspection, one could clearly see that a golden light had appeared on Zhu Ming's body. At some point, golden silhouettes had appeared on Duan Lingtian's body. They were the silhouettes of golden Buddhas. At this moment, the golden silhouettes on Duan Lingtian's right fist transformed into the silhouettes of golden Buddhas. It's the blissful sect's Duke-grade celestial method, the immobilization king method. The same thought appeared in the minds of the other two old ancestors of the profound Heaven Celestial sect as soon as they saw Duan Lingtian's fist. Master Duan, please show mercy. One of the two old ancestors of the profound Heaven Celestial sect, the blue-clad middle-aged man, cried out anxiously with a horrified expression on his face. Alas, it was too late. Bang! Zhu Ming, the old ancestor of the profound Heaven Celestial sect and a 10 Directions Celestial Duke, did not even have the time to defend himself before he was reduced to a cloud of blood that fell to the ground. After Zhu Ming died, his spatial ring was also in Duan Lingtian's hand. A 10 Directions Celestial Duke from the profound Heaven Celestial sect is nothing much. Meanwhile, the others who heard Duan Lingtian's words finally regained their senses. When they regained their senses, they looked at the scene before them. Although they did not see what had happened clearly due to Duan Lingtian's speed, they could vaguely guess what had happened. Heavens! Don't tell me Ancestor Zhu Ming was killed by Duan Lingtian? No! No way! The high-ranking officials of the profound Heaven Celestial sect and the patrolling disciples could not help but feel their hearts trembling in fear. Brother Ming. Chapter 29:15. When the blue-clad middle-aged man looked at Duan Lingtian again, his eyes were filled with hatred. It was as though he could not wait to tear Duan Lingtian into pieces and burn his bones into ashes to avenge his twin brother. However, as soon as the cold gleam appeared in his eyes, he forcefully suppressed it. He even shifted his gaze away from Duan Lingtian. Tears welled up in his eyes as he looked at the blood mist falling from the sky. In this lifetime, he and his twin brother, Zhu Ming, depended on each other for survival. It could be said that the person closest to him was his twin brother, Zhu Ming. Now, Zhu Ming was dead. Moreover, Zhu Ming was killed right in front of him. He was filled with hatred. He wanted nothing more than to tear the person who killed his twin brother Zhu Ming into 1,000 pieces and burn their bones to ashes. However, as soon as he thought of the terrifying strength of his opponent, a wave of fear involuntarily arose in his heart, and he could only forcefully suppress the monstrous hatred in his heart. Zhu Ming. The expression of the other old ancestor of the profound Heaven Celestial sect, the white-haired old man, changed drastically when he saw Zhu Ming's death. When he looked at Duan Lingtian again, his eyes were filled with fear and horror. Duan Lingtian had killed a 10 Directions Celestial Duke in just a blink of an eye. From the beginning until the end, the 10 Directions Celestial Duke did not even have a chance to defend himself. Even if the 10 Directions Celestial Duke had attacked him, he would not be able to retaliate at all. Junior Uncle Ming, Bai Wuji, the sect leader of the profound Heaven Celestial sect, finally regained his senses after the two old ancestors of the profound Heaven Celestial sect cried out in anguish. His eyes were filled with fear as he looked at Duan Lingtian. It was as though he was looking at the Grim Reaper who could take the lives of everyone in the profound Heaven Celestial sect. In his eyes, Duan Lingtian was no different from the Grim Reaper. His junior uncle Ming, a 10 Directions Celestial Duke, was killed by Duan Lingtian before he could even retaliate. One could only imagine how terrifying Duan Lingtian was. Even a quasi-immortal king wouldn't have the ability to kill martial Uncle Ming so easily, right? This Duan Lingtian, could it be an immortal king expert? Thinking of this, Bai Wuji's pupils suddenly shrank, and the fear on his face grew even stronger. Dead. Patriarch Zhu Ming is dead. This Duan Lingtian actually has the ability to kill Patriarch Zhu Ming? Old Ancestor Zhu Ming was a 10 Directions Celestial Duke, but he managed to kill Old Ancestor Zhu Ming in such a short time. Even a quasi-immortal king is unable to accomplish this, right? Could it be that he's an immortal king expert? Although the high-ranking officials of the profound Heaven Celestial sect and the patrolling disciples of the profound Heaven Celestial sect did not manage to see what had happened, they were shocked. However, based on the current atmosphere, they could guess that Duan Lingtian had killed the old ancestor of the profound Heaven Celestial sect. It was precisely because of this that they were all shocked. To them, this was too inconceivable. A young man who was not even 100 years old was able to kill the old ancestor of the profound Heaven Celestial sect, a 10 Directions Celestial Duke, in just a blink of an eye. Who was this young man? Sect leader Bai, can you bring your son here now? After killing Zhu Ming, the old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect, Duan Lingtian, asked Bai Wuji, the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect. Bai Wuji's expression darkened when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Then, he cupped his hands together and bowed respectfully at Duan Lingtian. Master Duan, I'll bring my unfilial son here now so that you can do whatever you want with him. As soon as he finished speaking, he flew toward the profound heaven cliff in the profound heaven celestial sect's estate. His only son, Bai Yuxian, was currently reflecting on his actions in the profound heaven cliff. Master Duan, I'll bring Bai Yuxian here now. After Bai Wuji left, the old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect said to Duan Lingtian before he followed Bai Wuji. Duan Lingtian did not stop the old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect. After all, he knew the old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect wanted to follow Bai Wuji because he was worried Bai Wuji would let Bai Yuxian go or escape with him. If that happened, the old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect would definitely be turned upside down. Swoosh. After putting Zhu Ming's spatial ring away, Duan Lingtian returned to Huan Er's side in just a flash. She held Duan Lingtian's hand and leaned against him with a calm expression on her face. It was as though she was not shocked by Duan Lingtian's strength at all. Even Tai Tai He, who was standing at the side, remained calm as he watched the scene unfold before him. After all, he had seen how Duan Lingtian killed Li An, a 9 Palaces celestial duke from the blissful sect. Moreover, Li Ping, the old ancestor of the blissful sect, had broken through and become a celestial king, but was killed by Duan Lingtian. Tai Tai He had a new understanding of Duan Lingtian's strength. For this reason, he was not surprised that Duan Lingtian was able to kill Zhu Ming, the old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect. After all, even a celestial king had died in the hands of Duan Lingtian from the Taiyi celestial sect. What was a mere 10 directions celestial duke to him? Duan Lingtian, Huan Er, and Huan Er stood in the distance while the high-ranking officials and disciples of the profound heaven celestial sect remained silent. It was as though they were afraid Duan Lingtian would target them if they made a sound. At this moment, Duan Lingtian was akin to the Grim Reaper in the eyes of the people from the profound heaven celestial sect. While they were waiting for Duan Lingtian, the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect, to arrive, the people from the profound heaven celestial sect were extremely anxious. They were afraid Duan Lingtian would attack them. They only heaved a sigh of relief when they heard Bai Wuji's voice from afar. Master Duan, I've brought Bai Yuxian here. The old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect and a young man with a confused expression on his face had returned as well. The old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect had returned with him. The young man was none other than Bai Yuxian, the young master of the profound heaven celestial sect. After a few moments, Bai Wuji and Bai Yuxian appeared in front of Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian? Bai Yuxian was shocked when he saw Duan Lingtian. This was because he had been caught by his father all of a sudden. From the beginning to the end, his father had not told him what had happened. Therefore, he did not know anything. He was confused when he saw Duan Lingtian. He had heard his father's words earlier. However, he did not expect Duan Lingtian to be the Master Duan his father had mentioned. Young master, we meet again. Duan Lingtian looked at Bai Yuxian and smiled faintly when Bai Wuji let go of Bai Yuxian's hand and allowed him to hover in the air. You! Why are you here? Now, sensing the surrounding atmosphere, no matter how stupid Bai Yuxian was, he could tell that something was wrong. Master Duan. Before Duan Lingtian could reply to Bai Yuxian, Bai Wuji, the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect, took the initiative to explain how Bai Yuxian had framed Hishan, the old ancestor of the Taiyi celestial sect. Master Duan, although I didn't know about this, I'm also at fault for covering up for him. Bai Wuji looked at Duan Lingtian and said solemnly, therefore, after you kill my unfilial son, you can kill me as well. I only hope that after you kill me and my unfilial son, you'll spare the profound heaven celestial sect and the profound heaven celestial sect. Bai Wuji's words were filled with sincerity and sincerity. Sect leader. Upon hearing Bai Wuji's words, The high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect reprimanded Bai Yuxian. It's all Bai Yuxian's fault. It has nothing to do with you. After all, you didn't know about his scheme beforehand. That's right, sect leader. Bai Yuxian should pay with his life. You don't have to bear the consequences for him. Sect leader Bai Wuji smiled bitterly when he heard the words of the high-ranking officials of the profound heaven celestial sect. As the saying goes, if the son doesn't teach him well, it's the father's fault. Master Duan, I hope you can forgive me for my actions and not implicate the profound heaven celestial sect and the profound heaven celestial sect. As soon as Bai Wuji finished speaking, a majestic aura surged out of his body. In the next moment, swoosh, Bai Wuji's figure shot up into the sky without any warning. After a few moments, bang, a loud explosion rang in the air as blood mist fell from the sky. A spatial ring could be seen falling from the sky. It was the spatial ring that Bai Wuji had worn when he was alive. Master Duan. At the same time, a person flew toward Duan Lingtian from afar. He looked at Duan Lingtian solemnly and said, "What Duan Lingtian said is true. Everything the sect leader said just now is the truth. I'm willing to use my name to testify for him. He Shan's death is all on Bai Yuxian." Duan Lingtian was familiar with the person who had just arrived. It was none other than He Pei Yuan, the supreme celestial alchemist of the profound heaven celestial sect. During the alchemy conference, Duan Lingtian had a good impression of He Pei Yuan. Junior granduncle, save me. Although Bai Yuxian did not know what had happened and why his father had committed suicide, he could tell Duan Lingtian was not someone to be trifled with. His expression changed drastically as he hurriedly cried for help from the blue-clad young man standing nearby. The blue-clad young man was the twin brother of Zhu Ming, the old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect, whom Duan Lingtian had killed. Chapter 29:16. Save you. Zhu Wen, the old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect, who was standing in the distance and mourning the death of his twin brother, Zhu Ming, looked at Bai Yuxian coldly when he heard Bai Yuxian's cry for help. "You little bastard, I've treated you well in the past, but I didn't expect you to bring such a disaster to the sect. Now, not only did you kill your junior granduncle Zhu Ming, but you even killed your father. How dare you ask me to save you?" At the end of his sentence, Zhu Wen glared at Bai Yuxian, his eyes burning with rage. If rage could hurt, Bai Yuxian would have been burned to death many times over. "If I had known that a little bastard like you would bring such a calamity to the sect, I would have killed you long ago to prevent future trouble." When Zhu Wen spoke up to this point, he paused for a moment before continuing, "My pitiful little brother Ming. He was actually implicated to death by a little bastard like you." Bai Yuxian was dumbfounded when he heard Zhu Wen's words. "What? Junior granduncle Ming is dead?" Bai Yuxian was completely dumbfounded. Humph. The old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect who had followed Bai Wuji to bring Bai Yuxian to the profound heaven celestial sect looked at Bai Yuxian and scoffed. "Isn't it because of you, little bastard? If you didn't scheme to kill He Shan, the old ancestor of the Taiyi celestial sect, would Master Duan have come looking for you? If Master Duan didn't come looking for you, would Zhu Ming have died? Would your father have died? In my opinion, you're the one who deserves to die the most." The old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect, who was usually mild-mannered, had a furious expression on his face. Master Duan?" Bai Yuxian looked at Duan Lingtian in shock and disbelief when he heard the old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect's words. How's it possible? How is it possible that he's so strong? Didn't the people from the blissful sect investigate him thoroughly? Isn't he just a transcender with no background? Bai Yuxuan was dumbfounded when he heard Zhu Wen's words. He knew Duan Lingtian was not someone to be trifled with when he saw his father, Bai Wuji, the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect, commit suicide. However, he did not expect one of the three old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect, Zhu Ming, a 10-direction celestial duke, would die because of Duan Lingtian. Moreover, based on the current situation, it seems that, The other two old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect did not seem to have any intention of pursuing the matter of Zhu Ming's death because of Duan Ling Tian at all. When he heard the words of the old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect, he could feel how terrifying Duan Ling Tian was. Although he could sense how terrifying Duan Ling Tian was, he did not think it was because of Duan Ling Tian's background. Moreover, the three old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect were not a match for Duan Ling Tian. It did not cross his mind that the three old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect were not a match for Duan Ling Tian. After all, he knew Duan Ling Tian was not even 100 years old, and Duan Ling Tian was an outstanding prominent celestial alchemist. It was rare for a prominent celestial alchemist to become a prominent celestial alchemist who was not even 100 years old. Moreover, Duan Ling Tian's alchemy skills were even better than some Duke-grade celestial alchemists. For this reason, Bai Yuxian did not expect Duan Ling Tian to be stronger than the three old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect. Where's the powerhouse by his side? He's able to make Junior Granduncle Wen and Junior Granduncle Ming so wary after killing Junior Granduncle Ming. I'm afraid he's not just a quasi-celestial king. The person by Duan Ling Tian's side is most likely a celestial king. Bai Yuxian's heart skipped a beat as he began to scan his surroundings. It was as though he was trying to locate the celestial king next to Duan Ling Tian. Alas, he was destined to come up empty-handed. In the end, his gaze landed on Tai Tai He, who was standing next to Duan Ling Tian. For a moment, he thought Tai Tai He was the celestial king by Duan Ling Tian's side. However, after a few moments, he felt Tai Tai He looked familiar. I remember now. His Tai Tai He, the left guardian of Dharma of the Tai Yi celestial sect. I've seen him once. If that's the case, he's not the celestial king by Duan Ling Tian's side. The celestial king by Duan Ling Tian's side is indeed hiding in the dark. With this thought in mind, Bai Yuxian continued to look around. A hint of unwillingness could be seen on his face. He was unwilling to accept that Duan Ling Tian had such a powerful background and Duan Ling Tian had such a powerful protector by his side. Stop looking around. After a while, Zhu Wen glanced at Bai Yuxian coldly and said, Master Duan doesn't have any other powerhouses by his side. Your senior granduncle Ming was killed by Master Duan because of you, you little bastard. He was afraid Master Duan would vent his anger on the profound heaven celestial sect for killing He Shan, the old ancestor of the Tai Yi celestial sect, and even annihilated the profound heaven celestial sect. Zhu Wen could guess Bai Yuxian's thoughts when he saw Bai Yuxian looking around. What? Bai Yuxian was dumbfounded when he heard Zhu Wen's words. When he looked at Duan Ling Tian again, apart from a complicated expression on his face, it was as though he had seen a ghost. He's capable of killing Junior Granduncle Ming? Moreover, my father committed suicide because he was worried Duan Ling Tian would destroy the profound heaven celestial sect. How's this possible? He's not even 100 years old. How can he be so powerful? Bai Yuxian found it hard to believe. If there's an afterlife, remember this. At the same time, Duan Ling Tian, who had been quietly looking at Bai Yuxian, suddenly opened his mouth as his eyes gleamed coldly. He slowly said, There's always someone stronger. Sometimes, a small mistake can cost you your life. As soon as Duan Ling Tian finished speaking, he waved his hand. Instantly, a purple palm print shot out from his hand. Like a small mountain, it pierced through the sky and headed straight for Bai Yuxian. Bang! It was only when everyone heard the loud explosion that they saw the space where Bai Yuxian was standing rippling as a bloody mist fell from the sky. Bai Yuxian's spatial ring slowly fell to the ground. What happened today is purely because I can't stand Bai Yuxian, the young master of the profound heaven celestial sect. If the profound heaven celestial sect decides to hold the Tai Yi celestial sect accountable for this, or do something to them. After killing Bai Yuxian, Duan Ling Tian swept his gaze across the people from the profound heaven celestial sect who were present on the scene before he slowly said, You're right. I don't mind coming back to the profound heaven celestial sect to annihilate the profound heaven celestial sect. Although Duan Ling Tian's words were spoken calmly, the people from the profound heaven celestial sect shuddered when they heard them. Don't worry, Master Duan. The old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect said as soon as he heard Duan Lingtian's words, "As long as I'm in the profound heaven celestial sect, I won't allow the profound heaven celestial sect to do anything to the Taiyi celestial sect. Master Duan, I, Zhu Wen, can promise you that as well." Zhu Wen, the old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect, also expressed his promise to Duan Lingtian. Although he wanted to kill Duan Lingtian to avenge his twin brother, he knew he had to be careful. Based on Duan Lingtian's strength, he knew he would never be able to avenge his twin brother. Under such circumstances, he could only bury his hatred for Duan Lingtian in the depths of his heart. Unless one day, he was strong enough to avenge his twin brother. Otherwise, he would never bring up the grudge between him and Duan Lingtian again. It's not just you. If the future generations of the profound heaven celestial sect dare to make things difficult for the Taiyi celestial sect, I won't let the profound heaven celestial sect off the hook, Duan Lingtian said, causing the people from the profound heaven celestial sect to tremble in fear. Swoosh. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, his figure flashed, and he disappeared from the sight of the people from the profound heaven celestial sect. It was as though he had vanished into thin air, leaving no trace behind. Even the two old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect, who were 10 Directions celestial dukes, did not see any trace of Duan Lingtian's departure at all. The two of them looked at each other and saw fear and shock in each other's eyes. The old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect said, "Elder Qi, from today onward, you'll be in charge of the sect's affairs. After Zhu Wen and I have a discussion, we'll decide on a new sect leader." The old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect looked at the middle-aged man standing at the front of the group of high-ranking officials from the profound heaven celestial sect and said in a deep voice, "I hope that the sect will remain stable for a long time. During this time, I hope that the sect can continue to be stable. You should understand what I mean. If you perform well, you might be the next sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect." When the old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect finished speaking, he looked at Elder Qi meaningfully. "Yes, old ancestor." Elder Qi was one of the 8 trigrams celestial dukes who led the high-ranking officials from the profound heaven celestial sect before the 3 old ancestors and the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect arrived. The other 8 trigrams celestial duke had died in Duan Lingtian's hands. When he was alive, he was glad that the 3 old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect had arrived in time. One of them had even blocked the saber for him. When he heard the words of one of the 2 old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect, he was overjoyed. The sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect. Chapter 29:17. Elder Qi from the profound heaven celestial sect was from the same generation as Bai Wu Ji, the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect who had committed suicide. They had even competed for the position of the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect with Bai Wu Ji. However, since he was inferior to Bai Wu Ji in every aspect, he had no chance of becoming the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect. This had become his obsession for almost half of his life. He did not expect he would one day have the opportunity to become the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect. For this reason, he was even more grateful to Duan Lingtian, the chief celestial alchemist of the Taiyi celestial sect, for coming to the profound heaven celestial sect in such a domineering manner. Although Duan Lingtian had done it unintentionally, it had given him a chance. Naturally, Duan Lingtian was unaware of this. Duan Lingtian had only gone to the profound heaven celestial sect to seek justice for Hishan, the old ancestor of the Taiyi celestial sect. Now that Bai Wu Ji and Bai Yu Xian, the young master of the profound heaven celestial sect, had died, Hishan should be able to rest in peace. Master Duan, on behalf of the Taiyi celestial sect, I thank you on behalf of the old ancestor for avenging him. After Duan Lingtian left the profound heaven celestial sect's estate with his celestial origin energy, he immediately bowed and thanked Duan Lingtian. Although Duan Lingtian was considered a member of the Taiyi celestial sect, he was only a revered elder of the Taiyi celestial sect. For a revered elder of the Taiyi celestial sect, avenging the old ancestor of the Taiyi celestial sect was not his duty. For this reason, Tai Tai he was truly grateful to Duan Lingtian for his actions earlier. Elder Tai, you're too kind. I'm still a revered elder of the Tai Yi celestial sect. It's my duty to avenge the old ancestor. There's no need for you to thank me, Duan Lingtian said with a faint smile. Moreover, the profound heaven celestial sect's actions are truly despicable. Before Tai Tai he could reply, Duan Lingtian's eyes flashed as he said, Elder Tai, I'll have to trouble you to bring us to the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect in the general region. The Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect would be his last stop. After this stop, he planned to leave the 6 southeastern regions and even the entire borderlands to head to the central area. That place would be his brand new stage. Yes, Alchemist Duan. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Tai Tai he hurriedly accepted the order. He was even more humble than when he was in front of the sect leader of the Tai Yi celestial sect. After witnessing Duan Lingtian's strength, Tai Tai his heart was filled with respect for the Duan Lingtian. Now that Duan Lingtian had avenged Hishan, the old ancestor of the Tai Yi celestial sect, Tai Tai he had even more respect for Duan Lingtian. Tai Tai he continued to bring Duan Lingtian and Huan along the way. Tai Tai he was unaware that Duan Lingtian had only asked him to bring them along because he did not want to expend too much of his celestial origin energy. After all, the celestial origin energy in his body was comparable to the celestial origin energy of a celestial king since it came from the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon. Unless it was absolutely necessary, he would not waste his celestial origin energy so easily. At this moment, Tai Tai he thought Duan Lingtian wanted to continue comprehending celestial methods and divine abilities. That was why Duan Lingtian asked him to bring him along. Now that I've expended a lot of my celestial origin energy, I'm comparable to an 8 trigram celestial king before I went to the profound heaven celestial sect. However, now, I'm only comparable to a 6 combinations celestial king at most. I'll have to conserve as much of my celestial origin energy as possible when we arrive at the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Otherwise, my celestial origin energy will be reduced to its original state before we even reach the central area. Duan Lingtian thought to himself as Tai Tai he led him away from the cross region to the general region. After all, Tai Tai he was only a 7 stars celestial duke. It would take some time for him to bring Duan Lingtian and Huan to the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. For this reason, apart from chatting with Huan occasionally, Duan Lingtian spent most of his time cultivating. Naturally, his cultivation did not increase his current strength. He could only increase his strength before he used the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon. While Tai Tai he was leading Duan Lingtian and Huan toward the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect in the general region, meanwhile, the Blissful sect was in chaos. The Blissful sect's disciples, who had only noticed the commotion but had no idea what was going on, eventually learned about what had happened from the surviving disciples who were present at the scene. Duan Lingtian, the chief celestial alchemist of the Tai Yi celestial sect, came to the Blissful sect and killed old ancestor Li Ping. Old ancestor Li Ping. Didn't he break through and become a celestial king? This is a joke, right? Old ancestor Li Ping did break through and become a celestial king. However, Duan Lingtian, the chief celestial alchemist of the Tai Yi celestial sect, is much stronger than old ancestor Li Ping. He easily killed old ancestor Li Ping. Oh my god! Isn't this too unbelievable? Didn't Duan Lingtian say he's not even 100 years old? This is the most terrifying thing about Duan Lingtian. Most of the high-ranking officials in the Blissful sect have been killed by Duan Lingtian. There are only a few high-ranking officials left in the outside world. I'm afraid the Blissful sect will be eliminated from the top sects in the 6 southeastern regions and the borderland. Putting aside the fact that the high-ranking officials of the Blissful sect who are lucky enough to survive in the outside world, we still have quasi-celestial kings whose ancestors are living in seclusion in the 6 southeastern regions and the borderlands. Do you think they'll dare to come out and lead the Blissful sect? That's right. The Blissful sect situation is different from the Tai Yi celestial sect situation. In the past, although the Tai Yi celestial sect was on the verge of being annihilated, they were able to save the sect due to the strength of their quasi-celestial kings. Due to this reason, the Tai Yi celestial sect had stood up and revived the sect. On the other hand, old ancestor Li Ping, who had broken through and become a celestial king, is dead. Even if we have quasi-celestial kings who live in seclusion in the 6 southeastern regions and the borderlands, would they dare to come out? Of course not. Isn't that obvious? As soon as old ancestor Li Ping became a celestial king, he was already stronger than the quasi-celestial kings in the blissful sect. Now that old ancestor Li Ping is dead, there's a chance the quasi-celestial kings in the blissful sect will be killed by Duan Lingtian. The blissful sect is doomed this time. Everyone, let's think about what to do next. I plan to leave the blissful sect tomorrow and cultivate in seclusion. After my hair grows out, I'll join another top sect. With my innate talent, it won't be difficult for me to join another top sect. Why do you have to wait until your hair grows out? If you don't wait until your hair grows out, won't it be as good as telling others that you're a disciple of the blissful sect? After today, news of Duan Lingtian annihilating the blissful sect will spread throughout the 6 southeastern regions and the borderlands. At that time, who would dare to recruit a disciple of the blissful sect? You're right. It seems like I'll have to grow out my hair from today onward. At this moment, the blissful sect was in a state of disunity. Most of the disciples were looking for a way out. Ji Fan, the Arhat of the blissful sect, stood in the air above the blissful sect's estate as he looked at the disciples who were leaving. I've completed part of the mission Master Duan gave me. From today onward, the blissful sect will cease to exist. Next, I'll spread the news of Master Duan's actions in the blissful sect's estate. Ji Fan muttered to himself before he disappeared from the blissful sect's estate. After that, he left the blissful sect's estate as well. Before Duan Lingtian left the cross region, news of what had happened to the blissful sect after he arrived at the blissful sect's estate had spread like wildfire. The news shocked everyone. In the region surrounding the blissful sect, the people there regarded the blissful sect as a sacred existence that they could only look at from afar. But now, they found out the blissful sect had been annihilated. The blissful sect has been annihilated. This must be a joke, right? Heavens! Is this true? The blissful sect is one of the top sects in the 6 southeastern regions, second only to the profound heaven celestial sect. How could it be annihilated? The most ridiculous thing is that the blissful sect was annihilated by Duan Lingtian, the chief celestial alchemist of the Taiyi celestial sect. Duan Lingtian, the chief celestial alchemist of the Taiyi celestial sect. The Duan Lingtian who became famous during the alchemy conference and is widely acknowledged as the #1 prominent celestial alchemist in the 6 southeastern regions? Yes, it's him. I thought he's not even 100 years old. How could he annihilate the blissful sect when he's not even 100 years old? The most ridiculous thing is that one of the old ancestors of the blissful sect had successfully broken through and became a basic celestial king, but he was still killed by Duan Lingtian. A person who's not even 100 years old is capable of killing a celestial king? As the news spread, more and more people began to doubt the veracity of the blissful sect's news. Many people decided to go to the blissful sect's estate to investigate the matter. In the end, they were led to the blissful sect's estate by some powerful sectless cultivators. As expected, the blissful sect's estate was empty. Most importantly, the blissful sect's estate was empty. The primitive celestial crystal lode in the blissful sect's estate was emptied as though it had been plundered. At this moment, everyone was convinced. Chapter 29:18. Meanwhile, Duan Lingtian and Huan left the cross region and entered the general region with Tai Tai He. Master Duan, this is the general region. However, since I've never been to the compassionate celestial traveler sect's estate, I don't know its exact location. After entering the general region, Tai Tai He looked at Duan Lingtian and said, "Therefore, I plan to look for a big city or a powerful force to inquire about it. We'll continue our journey after we find out where the compassionate celestial traveler sect's estate is. Elder Tai, I'll leave these matters to you." Duan Lingtian nodded with an emotionless expression. After entering the general region, Duan Lingtian discovered he could no longer remain calm. I wonder if I'll be able to see her after I go to the compassionate celestial traveler sect. Duan Lingtian did not plan to see Murong Bing during this trip to the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Unless Murong Bing came out of her own accord, he would not force her. After all, he did not plan to bring Murong Bing with him to the central area of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Brother Lingtian, Huana called out. Although Duan Lingtian did not show any abnormalities, she had been with Duan Lingtian for quite some time now. Therefore, she was very familiar with Duan Lingtian. At this moment, she could clearly sense that Lingtian's emotions were slightly unstable. His aura was also slightly unstable. She held Duan Lingtian's hand and gently squeezed his palm as though she was trying to calm Duan Lingtian's agitated aura. Huan I'm fine. Duan Lingtian patted the back of Huan hand affectionately. His eyes were filled with tenderness and affection. Don't worry. While Duan Lingtian, Huan and Huan entered the general region, news of the blissful sect being annihilated by Duan Lingtian had spread in most of the cross region. In the profound heaven celestial sect's estate. Ever since Duan Lingtian killed Zhu Ming, Bai Wuji, and the young master of the profound heaven celestial sect, and killed Bai Yuxuan, the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect, and the young master of the profound heaven celestial sect, Bai Yuxuan, a dark cloud loomed over the profound heaven celestial sect. Apart from the seventh elder who had a chance to become the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect, everyone else was feeling gloomy. After all, the deaths of Zhu Ming, the old ancestor of the profound heaven celestial sect, and Bai Wuji, the sect leader of the profound heaven celestial sect, were a great blow to the profound heaven celestial sect. For this reason, after that incident, the profound heaven celestial sect's estate was devoid of laughter. Today, the profound heaven celestial sect was in an uproar again after a piece of news came from the outside. The profound heaven celestial sect was in an uproar. Duan Lingtian, the chief celestial alchemist of the Taiyi celestial sect, killed Li Ping, a one basic celestial king from the blissful sect, and annihilated the blissful sect. Is this true? Li Ping, the old ancestor of the blissful sect, has broken through and become a celestial king? Many people seem to have confirmed this news. Up until now, no one has any evidence to prove it's false. Heavens! If this is true, doesn't this mean Duan Lingtian is strong enough to kill a one basic celestial king? The entire profound heaven celestial sect was shaken by the news that the blissful sect had been annihilated. It was as though an earthquake had taken place. Does this mean Duan Lingtian showed mercy to the profound heaven celestial sect? That seems to be the case. Since he's strong enough to kill a one basic celestial king, it shouldn't be difficult for him to annihilate the profound heaven celestial sect. Fortunately, he didn't pursue the matter with Bai Yuxuan. The high-ranking officials and disciples of the profound heaven celestial sect heaved a sigh of relief when they heard about the annihilation of the blissful sect and recalled what Duan Lingtian had done to the profound heaven celestial sect. Li Ping has broken through and become a celestial king. Even so, he was still killed by Duan Lingtian. As expected, Duan Lingtian isn't an ordinary celestial king. The two remaining old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect were shocked when they heard the news from the outside world. In fact, they had already guessed Duan Lingtian was not an ordinary celestial king when Zhu Ming was killed by Duan Lingtian. After all, if Duan Lingtian was only a one basic celestial king, they would still be able to catch a glimpse of his movements. However, they could not catch a glimpse of Duan Lingtian's movements at all. What did this mean? This meant Duan Lingtian was stronger than a one basic celestial king. The news from the blissful sect confirmed their suspicions. At the same time, they were relieved that Duan Lingtian did not kill the profound heaven celestial sect. After all, even the blissful sect that had a one basic celestial king was destroyed by Duan Lingtian. It would be easy for Duan Lingtian to destroy the profound heaven celestial sect if he wanted to. At this moment, the two surviving old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect broke out in cold sweat from the fright of their lives. Pass down my order. From today onward, no one in the profound heaven celestial sect is to provoke the people from the Taiyi celestial sect. Even if they encounter the people from the Taiyi celestial sect, they have to be respectful. The two old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect were fearful of Duan Lingtian's strength, so they quickly passed down the order. Upon hearing the order, everyone in the profound heaven celestial sect felt that it was only right. After all, they were deeply shocked by Duan Lingtian's strength. Even if the two old ancestors of the profound heaven celestial sect did not pass down the order, they would not dare to offend anyone from the Taiyi celestial sect in the future. Naturally, Duan Lingtian was unaware of this. The only thing Duan Lingtian knew was that news of him annihilating the blissful sect would soon spread in the cross region. I'm afraid there are only a few people in the cross region who don't know that I've annihilated the blissful sect, right? If the quasi-celestial kings of the blissful sect are still in seclusion in the cross region, they should have heard about it as well, right? Duan Lingtian thought to himself as Tai he brought him to the compassionate celestial traveler sect's estate. Indeed, things were as Duan Lingtian had expected. About half a month ago, the three quasi-celestial kings of the blissful sect who were in seclusion in the cross region had heard about the annihilation of the blissful sect. That brat Li Ping. He's already a celestial king, but he was still killed. Duan Lingtian, the chief celestial alchemist of the Taiyi celestial sect, is actually so strong. Moreover, he's not even 100 years old. Who is he? How did he become so strong at such a young age? The three quasi-celestial kings of the blissful sect were furious when they heard about the annihilation of the blissful sect. They could not wait to kill Duan Lingtian to avenge their fallen disciples. However, when they learned that even Li Ping, who had broken through and become a celestial king, was killed by Duan Lingtian, they immediately dismissed the idea of seeking revenge on Duan Lingtian. In fact, they did not even dare to come out to revive the blissful sect. After all, they were worried they would be killed by Duan Lingtian if they came out to revive the blissful sect. It would be easy for Duan Lingtian, who could kill a one basic celestial king, to kill them. The three quasi-celestial kings were once one basic celestial kings. Naturally, they knew the difference in strength between them and a one basic celestial king. Even if the three quasi-celestial kings joined forces, they would not be able to last more than 100 moves against a one basic celestial king. Senior uncle, are we just going to let this go? We're so weak that we're willing to stay in the borderlands to protect the sect. How can we do nothing but watch the sect being annihilated? I can't accept this. I can't accept this. One of the quasi-celestial kings of the blissful sect, a middle-aged man, said to the other old man. You can't accept it, but how can I accept it? I know Li Ping is your favorite direct disciple, and you want to avenge him. However, even Li Ping, who had broken through and become a celestial king, was killed by Duan Lingtian. Do you think you're a match for him? The old man shook his head with a bitter smile on his face. Perhaps, it's time for us to leave the borderlands. Back then, we didn't leave the borderlands to head to the central area because we're so weak. We're willing to stay and protect the sect. The last old man sighed and said, because of this, our cultivation bases have regressed from one basic celestial kings to 10 directions celestial dukes. Unless we can obtain rare herbs and pills to eliminate the side effects of regressing our cultivation bases, we won't be able to improve our cultivation bases at all. Now that the sect is gone, it's meaningless for us to stay in the borderlands. Let's head to the central area. Perhaps, we'll be able to obtain rare herbs and pills to eliminate the side effects of regressing our cultivation bases. The quasi-celestial king from the blissful sect had clearly thought of a backup plan. In the end, the three quasi-celestial dukes reached a consensus and left the 6 southeastern regions for the central area. At this moment, they regretted staying in the borderlands. After all, Duan Lingtian's appearance had ruined their reason for staying in the borderlands. They hated Duan Lingtian to the core. However, after learning about Duan Lingtian's strength, they knew there was nothing they could do to avenge Duan Lingtian. At this moment, Duan Lingtian was unaware that the blissful sect had left the blissful sect. The 3 reclusive celestial kings from the blissful sect had left the borderlands for fear of him. Moreover, Duan Lingtian did not know that the blissful sect had left the blissful sect. In the future, he would encounter the 3 quasi-celestial kings from the blissful sect in the central area. Master Duan, the compassionate celestial traveler sect, is up ahead. Outside the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sex estate, Tai Tai, he said to Duan Ling Tian as he looked at the area shrouded in clouds. Then, he looked at Duan Ling Tian cautiously and asked. Chapter 29:19. Although Tai Tai he knew there was a conflict between Duan Ling Tian and the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, he did not know how deep the conflict was. For this reason, he asked Duan Ling Tian. Although Tai Tai he did not attend the alchemy conference with Duan Ling Tian, he had learned from Sichu Ming, the prominent celestial alchemist of the Taiyi Celestial sect, that the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect had sent someone to kill Duan Ling Tian. However, based on Sichu Ming's words, it seemed like Duan Ling Tian did not intend to seek revenge from the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. For this reason, Tai Tai he did not know the purpose of Duan Ling Tian's visit to the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Let's go in. Upon hearing Tai Tai his question, Duan Ling Tian's eyes flashed. His celestial origin energy surged out of his body and shrouded the two of them. In the next moment, the three of them disappeared from their original spot. When they reappeared, they were in a vast area filled with lush greenery and fragrant flowers. It was as though they were in a fairyland. Within this vast region stood numerous towering mountains that pierced through the clouds. They were like numerous giants standing there, emitting an oppressive aura. I'm Duan Ling Tian, Murong Bing's man. I'm here to challenge the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect's 10 Directions Celestial Duke, Wang Qiu Kuang. Tai Tai he was about to greet the people from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect when he heard Duan Ling Tian's thunderous voice. Tai Tai he was dumbfounded when he heard Duan Ling Tian's words. He had heard that Duan Ling Tian had a close relationship with Murong Bing, the genius disciple of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. However, he did not expect Duan Ling Tian would come here to challenge him. He did not expect Duan Ling Tian to challenge Wang Qiu Kuang, the 10 Directions Celestial Duke of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. It was not difficult for him to guess Duan Ling Tian's motive. Murong Bing's master was Wang Danfeng, the second guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Wang Danfeng was famous for being ruthless. The reason why Wang Danfeng was said to be vicious and merciless was not only because of Wang Danfeng's fierce reputation outside, but also because Wang Danfeng had once personally executed her own personal disciple. And all of this was because her personal disciple had a man outside. This was because she wanted her direct disciple to become the next sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. However, her direct disciple had lost the opportunity to become the next sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect because she had a man. It seems like Master Duan and Murong Bing have slept together. Murong Bing has lost her chance to become the next sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Master Duan is worried that Murong Bing will follow in her senior sister's footsteps, so he decided to come to the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect to threaten Wang Danfeng. If he defeats Wang Danfeng's father, the 10 Directions Celestial Duke, Wang Qiu Kuang, he'll be able to intimidate Wang Danfeng and the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. In the blink of an eye, Tai Tai had guessed many things. Brother Ling Tian. A hint of envy could be seen in Huan Er's eyes when she heard Duan Ling Tian announcing that he was Murong Bing's man. She was, naturally, envious of Murong Bing. Huan Er had fallen in love with Duan Ling Tian. However, since Duan Ling Tian was trying to distance himself from her, it could only be considered as a one-sided love. She was very disappointed about this. How wonderful would it be if I could have a place in his heart like Sister Murong Bing? Huan Er sighed inwardly. A hint of disappointment could be seen in her eyes. At the same time, Duan Ling Tian's thunderous voice resounded in the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect due to his rich celestial origin energy. I, Duan Ling Tian, Murong Bing's man, have come to the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect to challenge Wang Qiu Kuang, the 10 Directions Celestial Duke. When Duan Ling Tian's words resounded in the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect's estate, silence fell upon the sect's estate. The high-ranking officials of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect and the ordinary disciples of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect were dumbfounded. After a long while, they finally regained their senses. Did you hear that voice? I'm not dreaming, right? You're not dreaming. I heard it as well. It's a man who claims to be Senior Sister Murong Bing. Most importantly, he's challenging the Supreme Guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. The Supreme Guardian is the second Guardian's father. He's also the only man in the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. He's also a powerful 10 Directions Celestial Duke. Isn't he seeking death by challenging the Supreme Guardian? I'm curious. When did Senior Sister Murong Bing have a man? She's going to inherit the position of the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. She's not allowed to have sex. I don't know. Let's go and see what's going on. Who's he? Could it be that he's a lunatic? I think it's more likely that he's crazy. With Senior Sister Murong Bing's beauty, it's normal for a man to go crazy over her. Most of the disciples in the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect estate were convinced that Duan Lingtian was a man who had gone crazy over Murong Bing's beauty after hearing Duan Lingtian's words. In fact, it was highly likely that Duan Lingtian was just an ordinary man who had gone crazy and dared to challenge the Supreme Guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. At this moment, they had forgotten something very important. If Duan Lingtian was just an ordinary man, how could he have barged into the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect's estate? How could he have made such a bold statement under the watchful eyes of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect's disciples? At this moment, many of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect's disciples had already risen into the air and were flying toward the source of the voice. A hint of sympathy could be seen in their eyes as they made their way to the source of the voice. They pitied the man who had overestimated himself. At this moment, it was as though they could already see the man being killed by the elders of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Wait a minute. That person said his name is Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian. Why does this name sound so familiar? Duan Lingtian? Isn't he the genius celestial alchemist who rose to prominence after the alchemy conference? Now that you mention it, I remember it as well. Duan Lingtian is the chief celestial alchemist of the Taiyi celestial sect in the wasteland. He's also a prominent celestial alchemist who's not even 100 years old. It's said that although Master Duan is only a prominent celestial alchemist, in terms of alchemy skills, even the supreme celestial alchemist of the profound heaven celestial sect is inferior to him. It seems like he's really a lunatic. Not only did he think Senior Sister Murong Bing is his woman, but he also thinks he's the genius celestial alchemist of the Taiyi celestial sect in the wasteland. His actions can be considered as a blasphemy against Senior Sister Bing and the Supreme Guardian. He'll definitely die today. More and more disciples from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect thought the voice belonged to a lunatic. At the same time, more and more disciples from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect flew toward the source of the voice. It was human nature to join in the fun. Even the female disciples from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect were no exception. In fact, as women, they were more inclined to join in the fun than men. Where did this lunatic come from? How dare he blaspheme the Supreme Guardian? This lunatic is delusional enough to think Junior Sister Murong Bing is his woman? Ridiculous. How arrogant. Moreover, he probably thinks he's the chief celestial alchemist of the Taiyi celestial sect in the wasteland. How dare he blaspheme the Supreme Guardian? He must be tired of living. Many elders from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect flew up into the air with furious expressions on their faces. Duan Lingtian? This does sound like the voice of the chief celestial alchemist of the Taiyi celestial sect in the wasteland, right? The few prominent celestial alchemists from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect who had attended the alchemy conference with the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect found the voice familiar. Indeed, it was Duan Lingtian, the chief celestial alchemist of the Taiyi celestial sect in the wasteland. Moreover, based on Duan Lingtian's attitude toward Murong Bing during the alchemy conference, they could tell the relationship between Duan Lingtian and Murong Bing was unusual. This alchemist Duan dares to challenge the Supreme Guardian? Is he crazy? I don't know. Let's go and have a look. The few prominent celestial alchemists from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect left their residences as soon as they heard Duan Lingtian's voice. Duan Lingtian? Why is he here? Does he have a death wish? Lin Ru, the first guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, who had attended the alchemy conference with Nangong Xiu, the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, had also heard Duan Lingtian's voice. After the alchemy conference, she had learned about the relationship between Duan Lingtian and Murong Bing from Nangong Xiu. At that time, just like Nangong Xiu, she felt the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect would be able to climb up the social ladder after learning that Duan Lingtian was a disciple of the Crimson Skies Duan clan in the central area. The marriage between Duan Lingtian and Murong Bing was destined to become a legend in the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. After the alchemy conference ended, Lin Ru and Nangong Xiu even went to persuade Wang Danfeng, the second guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, after they returned. When Wang Danfeng learned about the relationship between Murong Bing and Duan Lingtian, she was, naturally, furious. She wanted to kill Murong Bing. However, after learning about Duan Lingtian's background in the central area, she decided not to kill Murong Bing for the time being since she was wary of Murong Bing. However, some time ago, there was news from the Cross region that the Blissful sect had investigated Duan Lingtian's background. Duan Lingtian did not have a background in the central area. He was just an ordinary person who had just ascended. When Wang Danfeng heard the news, she wanted to kill Murong Bing again. However, Nangong Xiu, the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, stopped her. Nangong Xiu's words were, "What if the Blissful sect made a mistake?" In the end, Wang Danfeng still imprisoned Murong Bing. At the same time, she waited for news from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect's intelligence network. Chapter 29-20. Duan Lingtian. When Duan Lingtian's voice resounded in the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect's estate, Nangong Xiu, the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, heard Duan Lingtian's voice as well. For a moment, her pupils constricted and her face darkened. Although she and her junior sister, Wang Danfeng, did not believe the news about the Blissful sect finding out about Duan Lingtian's background was true, she did not believe it. However, in her heart, she began to believe that piece of news a little more. After all, there was no smoke without fire. It was precisely because of this that she hated Duan Lingtian to the core. She hated Duan Lingtian for lying to her. After returning to the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect after the alchemy conference ended, she had told Wang Danfeng about the relationship between her niece, Feng Tianwu, and Duan Lingtian. This had caused a lot of trouble for her. If Duan Lingtian had not lied, she would have had time to think about how to deal with Wang Danfeng even if she found out about this matter sooner or later. However, now that her niece had been imprisoned, she was waiting for Wang Danfeng to investigate Duan Lingtian's background. After confirming that Duan Lingtian did not have a powerful background, her niece would most likely be in trouble. He dares to challenge the Supreme Guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Nangong Xiu could tell the voice belonged to Duan Lingtian, whom she had met during the alchemy conference. However, she found it difficult to understand why Duan Lingtian would challenge the Supreme Guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. After all, the Supreme Guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect was a 10 Directions Celestial Duke. She was one of the strongest people in the 6 southeastern regions and the borderlands. However, Duan Lingtian, a young man who was not even 100 years old, possessed a high talent in alchemy, and was only an overarching heavenly supreme celestial, dared to challenge the Supreme Guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect? Is he out of his mind? At this moment, even Nangong Xiu, the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, thought Duan Lingtian must be out of his mind. Swoosh! Nangong Xiu's eyes flashed as her robes fluttered. In just a blink of an eye, she had disappeared from her cultivation palace. She had disappeared. Duan Lingtian? A woman who was instructing a young girl in the courtyard of the sect's mansion was standing in the courtyard, a beautiful woman who was instructing a young girl who was practicing swordsmanship who was instructing her when she heard the voices when she Lingtian's assess words Duan Lingtian. Hall. Sect. Linges he. Sects is he. The girl in green beside the beautiful woman suddenly narrowed her eyes when she heard the voice coming from afar. Her face was filled with shock. Liu Luo, is that really the voice of Duan Lingtian, the chief celestial alchemist of the Taiyi celestial sect in the wasteland? The beautiful woman asked coldly as she looked at the green-clad young girl with a piercing gaze. The green-clad young girl's heart skipped a beat when she saw the beautiful woman's piercing gaze. She hastily replied, "Master, that's his voice." The green-clad young girl was none other than Liu Luo, the disciple of the compassionate celestial traveler sect whom Duan Lingtian had met in Alchemy City in the Barren Land. The beautiful woman was none other than Wang Danfeng, the second guardian of the compassionate celestial traveler sect. She was also Liu Luo and Murong Bing's master. Wang Danfeng was also the daughter of Wang Qiuquang, the only 10 Directions celestial duke in the compassionate celestial traveler sect. Good, very good. I didn't expect him to come knocking on my door. After obtaining Liu Luo's confirmation, the beautiful woman's eyes flashed coldly. Then, she disappeared from Liu Luo's sight. "Master, wait for me." Although Liu Luo could not see the beautiful woman, she knew her master had gone to the place where Duan Lingtian's voice had come from. She quickly flew toward the place where Duan Lingtian's voice had come from. Third senior sister must have heard Duan Lingtian's voice by now, right? Unfortunately, even if she hears his voice, she won't be able to leave that place. As Liu Luo made her way to the place where Duan Lingtian's voice had come from, a beautiful figure appeared in her mind. She could not help but sigh inwardly. Why is he here? Moreover, he even said he wants to challenge Grandmaster. At the foot of a steep mountain in the compassionate celestial traveler sect, there was a dilapidated courtyard. A woman who was sitting in front of an old wooden table in the courtyard suddenly rose to her feet. A hint of excitement flashed in her eyes before it was replaced by a hint of worry. The woman was dressed in a light purple dress. Her eyebrows were like feathers, her skin was as fair as snow, and her waist was slim. Although half of her face was covered by a thin veil, her pair of clear and cold autumn eyes, as well as her elegant and refined temperament, were enough to make everything around her pale in comparison. Apart from that, her face was also covered by the veil. However, because the veil was half transparent, the outline of her face was faintly discernible, and one could vaguely see the perfect curve of her face. She was so beautiful that one could not help but have the urge to lift the veil and look at her face. One could imagine how charming she was even with the veil covering her face. If one were to remove the veil, one could only imagine how devastatingly beautiful her face would be. The woman was none other than Murong Bing, a disciple of the compassionate celestial traveler sect. This was the place where Murong Bing's master, Wang Danfeng, had imprisoned her. There were layers upon layers of formations around it, making it impossible for Murong Bing to escape. Could it be that he really has the background of a great family in the central area? The blissful sect didn't find out anything about him. However, if he brought someone here, why did he say that he wanted to challenge Grandmaster? At this moment, Murong Bing's heart was filled with confusion. She was certain that the voice belonged to that man. It was also because of this that she couldn't understand why that man would say those words. As far as she knew, although the man was an overarching heavenly supreme celestial, he was as weak as an ant in front of a 10 Directions celestial duke. In the depths of the compassionate celestial traveler sect's estate, there was a steep mountain that pierced through the clouds. This was the tallest mountain in the compassionate celestial traveler sect's estate. It was the best place to cultivate in the compassionate celestial traveler sect since it was the closest to the primitive celestial crystal vein that was under the sect's control. This was where Wang Qiuquang, the supreme guardian of the compassionate celestial traveler sect, cultivated. Originally, Wang Qiuquang was sitting cross-legged in the air in a valley halfway up the mountain, cultivating. Suddenly, he heard the sound coming from outside, and he opened his eyes abruptly. A cold glint flashed in his eyes as though he was about to devour someone. "Challenge me?" Wang Qiuquang was a tall and well-built middle-aged man with an ordinary appearance. A hint of disdain could be seen on his face when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. He, Wang Qiuquang, was not someone who could be easily challenged. Duan Lingtian? He had never heard of this name before. For this reason, he was certain Duan Lingtian was not a 10 Directions celestial duke in the 6 southeastern regions or even the borderlands. Soon after, Wang Qiuquang closed his eyes again and continued to cultivate. He completely ignored Duan Lingtian's words and treated them as a joke that was not worth mentioning. Meanwhile, on the other side, as Duan Lingtian's voice spread through the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, it did not take long for a group of people from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect to surround Duan Lingtian and his companions. In the beginning, it was the patrolling disciples from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. After a while, a group of high-ranking officials from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect arrived one after another. As time passed, more and more disciples from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect came to join in the fun. Is that lunatic? Many people shifted their attention to Duan Lingtian as soon as they arrived. Is he really Duan Lingtian from the Taiyi Celestial sect of the Wasteland? One of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect's disciples cried out in surprise. She looked at Huan who was standing next to Duan Lingtian for a moment before she shifted her gaze to Duan Lingtian. Chem. Many people were looking at the disciple from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect in confusion when she looked at Huan again and said, "That's right." She continued to say, "I've long heard that Duan Lingtian, the chief celestial alchemist of the Wasteland, has a peerless beauty by his side. This is my first time seeing such a beautiful woman. Even the most beautiful woman in the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, Senior Sister Murong Bing, pales in comparison to her. Based on her presence, it's clear that the purple-clad young man next to her is Duan Lingtian, the chief celestial alchemist of the Taiyi Celestial sect of the Wasteland. What a perfect woman. Such a woman. I'm afraid you won't be able to find a second one in this world, right? It seems like the purple-clad young man is Duan Lingtian from the Wasteland's Taiyi Celestial sect." Initially, they thought it was a madman impersonating Duan Lingtian. However, when they saw Duan Lingtian standing next to Duan Lingtian, they were more or less certain of Duan Lingtian's identity. He's the chief celestial alchemist of the Taiyi Celestial sect, Duan Lingtian? It's really him? When the high-ranking officials of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect looked at Duan Lingtian again, a hint of surprise could be seen in their eyes. "You are Duan Lingtian?" Just as the high-ranking officials and disciples of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect were about to confirm Duan Lingtian's identity, a furious voice rang from afar. As soon as the voice fell, a beautiful woman appeared out of thin air before the people from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Guardian Danfeng. Chapter 29-21. There were 3 Nine Palaces Celestial Dukes in the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Nangong Xiu, the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, Lin Yu, the first guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, and Wang Danfeng, the second guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Wang Danfeng, the second guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, was the first of the 3 Nine Palaces Celestial Dukes to appear. The people from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect shifted their attention to Wang Danfeng when they saw her. Moreover, after the group of people came back to their senses, they greeted Wang Danfeng respectfully. "Guardian Danfeng, Guardian Danfeng." Although Wang Danfeng, the second guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, was not as strong as Lin Yu, the first guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. However, compared to Lin Yu, they were much more nervous in front of Wang Danfeng. This was because Wang Danfeng's temper was worse than Lin Yu's. Moreover, Wang Danfeng's father was the supreme guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. The supreme guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect was a 10 Directions Celestial Duke. He was an irreplaceable pillar of the sect. Even the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect was respectful and did not dare to act recklessly in front of the Supreme Guardian. "Guardian Danfeng?" Duan Lingtian had noticed the beautiful woman as soon as she appeared. Based on the way the people from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect addressed her, he could guess her identity. Wang Danfeng, the second guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. She was also Murong Bing's master. Duan Lingtian's purpose in coming to the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect was to intimidate Wang Danfeng so she would not dare to act rashly against Murong Bing. Wang Danfeng was a graceful and beautiful woman. She was dressed elegantly. It was obvious she was a person who cared about dressing up. Moreover, Wang Danfeng looked like she was in her 30s at most. Although she was more mature than ordinary young women, she had a unique charm. However, when Wang Danfeng appeared, she looked at Duan Lingtian coldly. A hint of killing intent could be seen in the depth of her eyes. It seems that she already knows what happened between me and Murong Bing. Sensing Wang Danfeng's cold gaze, Duan Lingtian's complexion slightly changed. At the same time, he couldn't help but become impatient. Since she knows about my relationship with Murong Bing, there's no way she'll let Murong Bing off so easily. Perhaps, she's afraid of the major clans in the central area backing me up. However, the blissful sect has long found out about me. Moreover, the blissful sect is closer to the compassionate celestial traveler sect than the Taiyi celestial sect. The compassionate celestial traveler sect must have received news that the blissful sect has found out about me. Under such circumstances, Murong Bing, at this moment, Duan Lingtian no longer dared to think about it. He immediately extended his divine consciousness and shrouded the entire compassionate celestial traveler sect's estate. His divine sense extended, and the first thing he sensed was Wang Danfeng's existence, because Wang Danfeng was really too dazzling. Her cultivation base as a 9 palaces celestial duke made her stand out among the people from the compassionate celestial traveler sect. As Duan Lingtian continued to extend his divine consciousness, he discovered 2 other 9 palaces celestial dukes flying toward him one after another. He was not unfamiliar with these 2 people. He had seen them at the last alchemy conference. They were Nangong Xiu, the sect leader of the compassionate celestial traveler sect. The first guardian of the compassionate celestial traveler sect, Lin Ru. However, since Duan Lingtian's divine consciousness was currently at the level of a 6-combo celestial king, Wang Danfeng, Nangong Xiu, and Lin Ru were unaware of Duan Lingtian's divine consciousness. Duan Lingtian continued to extend his divine consciousness. The entire compassionate celestial traveler sect's estate was shrouded by Duan Lingtian's divine consciousness. A 10 directions celestial duke. It seems like he's the supreme guardian of the compassionate celestial traveler sect, Wang Danfeng's father, Wang Qiuquang. Duan Lingtian, who had shrouded the entire compassionate celestial traveler sect with his divine consciousness, quickly discovered Wang Qiuquang's presence. At the same time, Wang Qiuquang was unaware of Duan Lingtian's divine consciousness as well. Whoosh! After a while, Duan Lingtian finally discovered Murong Bing's presence. After confirming that Murong Bing was fine, he withdrew his divine consciousness. At the same time, he heaved a long sigh of relief. "You're Duan Lingtian?" Wang Danfeng had always been looking coldly at Duan Lingtian, and only when she saw the lingering fear on Duan Lingtian's face did she question in a cold voice. "Greetings, Guardian Danfeng. I'm Duan Lingtian." Although Duan Lingtian's purpose was to intimidate Wang Danfeng, she was still Murong Bing's master. Therefore, he still knew how to act courteously. Wang Danfeng's cold expression did not ease at all when she saw Duan Lingtian bowing to her. However, her eyes flashed. If it was said that she was still angry when she confirmed Duan Lingtian's arrival in the beginning, however, now that she saw Duan Lingtian, she calmed down a little. At the same time, he could not help but scan the surroundings from the corner of his eyes. He wanted to see if there were any powerhouses who had followed Duan Lingtian and were hiding by his side. "Greetings, Guardian Danfeng. I'm Tai Tai He from the Taiyi celestial sect." At this moment, Tai Tai He, who was standing behind Duan Lingtian, followed suit and bowed to Wang Danfeng. "Guardian Danfeng, there's no need for you to look. Only the 3 of us have come to visit your sect. There's no 4th person." Duan Lingtian said indifferently. He could see through Wang Danfeng's thoughts. "Apart from that, it's just as the blissful sect found out, I have no background. I'm only an ascender from a mundane realm to the spirit overarching heaven." Duan Lingtian continued to say. After he finished speaking, Duan Lingtian looked at Wang Danfeng meaningfully before he added, "I'm sure you've heard about the blissful sect's investigation of my background, right?" Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Wang Danfeng's expression changed drastically. A hint of suspicion could be seen in her eyes as she looked at Duan Lingtian. "Duan Lingtian, how dare you deceive me?" A familiar voice rang in the air. Duan Lingtian turned around and saw Nangong Xiu, the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Lin Yu, the first guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, was standing next to Nangong Xiu like a shadow. Sect leader Nangong, guardian Lin Yu. Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow and greeted them with a smile on his face. Although he did not have much contact with Lin Yu, he did not have any enmity with her. Although Nangong Xiu had sent people to hunt him down, Nangong Xiu's protection of Murong Bing had left him with a good impression of Nangong Xiu. Sect leader Nangong fabricated the identity of a major clan in the central area because he was forced to do so. Duan Lingtian sighed when he saw Nangong Xiu glaring at him. I hope you can understand. You deceived me, and you want me to understand you. The fury in Nangong Xiu's eyes soared. When she spoke again, her voice was even colder. Sect leader Nangong, can we talk about our matters later? Duan Lingtian's eyes flashed when he saw the furious Nangong Xiu. He said bluntly, I came here to challenge Wang Qiuquang, the supreme guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. It won't be too late to talk about our matters after I challenge Wang Qiuquang. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, he instinctively looked at Wang Danfeng. After all, Wang Qiuquang was Wang Danfeng's biological father. You want to challenge my father? Wang Danfeng sneered as she looked at Duan Lingtian disdainfully. If you don't come from a major clan in the central area, don't even think about leaving the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect alive. As soon as Wang Danfeng finished speaking, a terrifying killing intent surged from her body again. The expressions of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect's disciples changed drastically. They instinctively retreated to put some distance between them and Wang Danfeng. It seems like Guardian Danfeng doesn't believe I'm strong enough to challenge your father. Duan Lingtian was not surprised by Wang Danfeng's disdain. When he spoke again, his tone suddenly changed. His tone changed as he said, in that case, I'll show you if I'm strong enough to challenge your father. At the instant Duan Lingtian finished speaking, his originally calm eyes focused abruptly. In the next moment, boom, rumble. Thunderous explosions rang in the air around Duan Lingtian as purple energy surged out of Duan Lingtian's body. As soon as the purple energy surged out of Duan Lingtian's body, it transformed into thousands of purple beams. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Before the 3-9 Palaces celestial dukes of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect could react, Duan Lingtian's purple energy had transformed into thousands of purple beams that shot toward Wang Danfeng again. When Wang Danfeng regained her senses and tried to block Duan Lingtian's attack, she discovered the purple beams had no intention of attacking her. Instead, around her body, they converged and formed a cage made entirely of purple light, trapping her inside. Swoosh. Although Duan Lingtian did not attack her, Wang Danfeng's expression could not help but change when she saw Duan Lingtian cast such a technique in the blink of an eye. Swoosh, swoosh. Nangong Xiu and Lin Yu's expressions changed drastically when they saw Wang Danfeng's expression. I'm afraid only a 10 directions celestial duke or stronger would be able to cast such a technique right under our noses, right? Nangong Xiu and Lin Yu glanced at each other, and Lin Yu's slightly trembling voice sounded in their ears. Nangong Xiu's heart skipped a beat when he heard Lin Yu's words. The elders and disciples of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect were stunned when they saw Wang Danfeng trapped in a purple cage. Withdraw. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Duan Lingtian slowly extended his right hand and clenched it into a fist. Chapter 29-22. The light from the purple cage shone brightly before it shrunk again. It shrouded Wang Danfeng and trapped her. Wang Danfeng's expression changed drastically. She tried her best to resist the purple cage, but it was futile. The purple energy was like an endless torrential river that slammed into her body. Every time her celestial origin energy rose, it would be mercilessly destroyed. At this moment, Wang Danfeng had a feeling of being a fish on a chopping block. At the same time, there was only a deep sense of helplessness in the depths of her heart. Purple chi from the east. Nangong Xiu and Lin Ayu's expressions changed again when they saw Wang Danfeng was being restrained. They recognized the technique Duan Lingtian had cast. It was the profound Heaven Celestial Sect's Duke-grade divine ability, the Eastern Purple Qi. Moreover, they could tell Duan Lingtian had completely comprehended and mastered the Eastern Purple Qi. Otherwise, he would not have been able to control the Eastern Purple Qi as though it was his own arm. Duan Lingtian, let go of my junior sister. Although Nangong Xiu was shocked by Duan Lingtian's strength and techniques, she still made a move when she saw Wang Danfeng being restrained by Duan Lingtian. Swoosh! His figure was like the wind as he tore through the sky and flashed towards Duan Lingtian. Although Lin Ayu did not say anything, she followed closely behind Nangong Xiu. She was prepared to join forces with Nangong Xiu to deal with Duan Lingtian. If it was in the past, they would not take Duan Lingtian seriously at all regardless of alchemy Dao. In the past, they would never have imagined that they would join forces to deal with Duan Lingtian. Moreover, even if they joined forces, they were not confident they could defeat Duan Lingtian. After all, Duan Lingtian's strength was too strong. He was at least a 10 directions celestial duke or even stronger. When Nangong Xiu and Lin Ayu had just moved, Duan Lingtian had already noticed them. However, Duan Lingtian did not look at them. His gaze was still fixed on Wang Danfeng, who was still struggling bitterly. If not for the fact that this woman was Murong Bing's teacher and Murong Bing had deep feelings for her, he would have killed her long ago to prevent any future troubles. Although Duan Lingtian had a 10 directions celestial duke as his backer, he was still a 10 directions celestial duke. However, now that he could even kill a 1 basic celestial king, why would he be afraid of a mere 10 directions celestial duke? Akala. As Nangong Xiu and Lin Ayu rapidly approached, Duan Lingtian still did not shift his gaze. However, with a thought, a surge of energy rose from his body once again. A few moments later, the silhouette of a golden Buddha that was shrouded in purple qi appeared around Duan Lingtian, shielding him firmly in the middle. Boom! Rumble! No matter how hard Nangong Xiu and Lin Ayu attacked, the golden Buddha shadow that rose from Duan Lingtian's body did not show any signs of dissipating. When the two women's attacks landed on the golden Buddha shadow, it felt like they were merely scratching an itch. They were not a threat to him at all. 9 Suns Lotus Seat, World-Cleansing Horsetail Whisk. Nangong Xiu and Lin Ayu were shocked by Duan Lingtian's terrifying defense. Then, they took out their king-grade celestial weapons with a solemn expression on their faces. A lotus seat appeared in Nangong Xiu's hand. There were 9 boys standing in 3 rows on top of the lotus seat. There were 5 boys below the lotus seat, 3 boys above the 5 boys, and 1 boy above the 3 boys. This was one of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler Sect's 3 sect guarding celestial weapons, the 9 Suns Lotus Seat. It was the strongest of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler Sect's 3 sect guarding celestial weapons. Whoosh! With a solemn expression on her face, Nangong Xiu channeled her celestial origin energy into the 9 Suns Lotus Seat. The 9 Suns Lotus Seat shone brightly as 2 clones appeared. Apart from the main body that remained in Nangong Xiu's hand, one of the clones appeared beneath Nangong Xiu's feet. At the same time, it expanded and supported Nangong Xiu. The other doppelganger turned into a huge shadow and enveloped Nangong Xiu like an impenetrable wall. Meanwhile, the horsetail whisk in Lin Ayu's hand was no stranger to Duan Lingtian. Murong Bing had found this horsetail whisk in the little world that they had entered together. It was one of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler Sect's 3 sect guarding celestial weapons, the World-Cleansing Horsetail Whisk. The World-Cleansing Horsetail Whisk had been lost for many years until Murong Bing found it a few years ago. The Compassionate Celestial Traveler Sect's other sect-guarding celestial weapon was in the possession of Wang Qiu Kuang, Wang Danfeng's father, the supreme guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler Sect. The sect leader even took out the 9 Suns Lotus Seat. Is Duan Lingtian's defense really that terrifying? Isn't it obvious? Before the sect leader used her king-grade celestial weapon, she and Guardian Lin Ayu were still unable to break through Duan Lingtian's defense even after joining forces. How can his defense not be terrifying? Now that Guardian Lin Ayu has taken out her world-cleansing horsetail whisk, 2 9 Palaces celestial dukes and 2 king-grade celestial weapons should be able to break through Duan Lingtian's defense, right? Even if Duan Lingtian's defense is breached, there's no doubt about his strength. At the very least, he's a 10 directions celestial duke. At this moment, the elders and disciples of the compassionate celestial traveler sect finally regained their senses. Duan Lingtian's strength was simply too shocking. Wang Danfeng, the second guardian of the compassionate celestial traveler sect, was a 9 Palaces celestial duke. However, she did not even have the strength to fight back against Duan Lingtian. Although Wang Danfeng had underestimated Duan Lingtian and was careless, it was also because of Duan Lingtian's strength that he was capable of doing this. Now that the 2 9 Palaces celestial dukes from the compassionate celestial traveler sect had joined forces and even took out 2 of the sect's sect-guarding celestial weapons, the elders and disciples of the compassionate celestial traveler sect watched intently. Most of them were certain the 2 9 Palaces celestial dukes from the compassionate celestial traveler sect would be able to break through Duan Lingtian's defense with their king-grade celestial weapons. However, their confidence in the 2 9 Palaces celestial dukes was shaken. That's also a king-grade celestial weapon? It's impossible for a duke-grade celestial weapon to have such an aura. The people from the compassionate celestial traveler sect could clearly see a celestial weapon appearing in the purple-clad young man's hand as soon as Nangong and Lin Yu took out their king-grade celestial weapons. That immortal artifact was an umbrella. There were strange patterns drawn on the umbrella's body. There were also strange patterns engraved on the umbrella's handle. As soon as the umbrella appeared in the purple-clothed young man's hand, it opened and transformed. In the blink of an eye, it was in the hands of the golden Buddha shadow that was propped up by the purple-clothed young man. As soon as the umbrella appeared in the golden Buddha silhouette's hand, it was shrouded in a layer of golden light. A faint purple energy could be seen on the umbrella's surface as well. Whoosh! In just a blink of an eye, the umbrella shone with a dazzling light that resonated with the golden Buddha silhouette and the purple energy before it seemed to merge with the umbrella. At the same time, Nangong and Lin Yu's attacks with their king-grade celestial weapons arrived as well. Nangong held the 9 children lotus seat in her hand. The 9 children lotus seat trembled, and the 9 boys on it seemed to have come to life as they opened their eyes one after another. In the next moment, swoosh, 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 swoosh. The sound of wind whistling rang in the air as the 9 boys left the lotus seat and charged toward Duan Lingtian at lightning speed. During this process, the bodies of the 9 boys continued to expand as though they were being blown by the wind. When the 9 boys came into contact with the golden Buddha silhouette that was holding up an umbrella on Duan Lingtian's body, their bodies shone brightly as though they were members of a suicide squad. Almost at the same time, they self-destructed. Boom. Rumble. The 9 boys self-destructed at the same time. The sound of self-destruction mixed together and seemed to shake the heavens and the earth. It even caused the space at the point of explosion to tremble. Waves of shocking airwaves swept out in all directions. As for the golden Buddha shadow holding the umbrella, it also trembled and swayed when the 9 children self-destructed at the same time. It gave off a feeling that it was on the verge of collapse, as if it could collapse at any time. Whoosh, whoosh. When the golden Buddha silhouette holding the umbrella was on the verge of collapsing due to the self-destruction of the 9 boys, the sound of wind whistling rang in the air again. Lin Yu had made her move after Nangong's performance. The world-cleansing horsetail whisk seemed to have come to life in her hand. With a wave of her hand, the void trembled as a gust of wind whistled out toward Duan Lingtian. The gust of wind whistled through the air like a ferocious beast from ancient times. It opened its bloody mouth and charged toward Duan Lingtian. The golden Buddha silhouette that was shaken by the 9 boys' self-destruction trembled again when it was hit by the gust of wind. Is Duan Lingtian's defense going to be breached? The group of elders and disciples from the compassionate celestial traveler sect stared at the golden Buddha silhouette holding the umbrella on Duan Lingtian's body. Their hearts trembled slightly as a hint of hope appeared in their eyes. However, what happened next disappointed them. The golden Buddha silhouette holding the umbrella on Duan Lingtian's body continued to sway. When it regained its footing, it was as still as a mountain. Since Nangong, the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, had taken care of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect's disciples on the scene, none of them were affected by the shockwave of her and Lin Ayu's attack. This is not enough to breach his defense. His king-grade celestial weapon isn't simple. Moreover, it seems to be a purely defensive king-grade celestial weapon. Now, I'm certain he's at least a 10 directions celestial duke. The elders and disciples from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect were shocked by Duan Lingtian's ability to fend off Nangong and Lin Ayu's attacks. At the same time, they shifted their attention to the umbrella in Duan Lingtian's hand. At this moment, the umbrella in the golden Buddha silhouette's hand shone with purple, golden, and profound rays. It seemed to be able to ward off all the wind and rain in the world. He's finally here. While the people from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect were still in shock over Duan Lingtian's strength, Duan Lingtian shifted his gaze to the sky in the distance. Chapter 29-23. At the very least, no one, including the 3 Nine Palaces celestial dukes of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, noticed the newcomer when Duan Lingtian discovered him. Although this person's speed was fast, he could not escape Duan Lingtian's eyes. Swoosh! A moment later, as though a gust of wind had blown past, a tall and sturdy figure appeared beside Wang Danfeng out of thin air. It was a middle-aged man. Supreme Guardian. Supreme Guardian. Nangong Xiu, the sect leader of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, and Lin Ayu, the first guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, were the first to regain their senses. They were not surprised by the newcomer's appearance. After all, they had used 2 of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect's sect-guarding celestial weapons to attack Duan Lingtian. Supreme Guardian? He's the Supreme Guardian? Although the disciples of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect had more or less heard about the Supreme Guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, this was their first time seeing him in person. At that moment, all of their gazes were focused on the Supreme Protector. Supreme Guardian. Supreme Guardian. The eyes of the elders of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect lit up when they saw Wang Qiuquang, the Supreme Guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Previously, Nangong Xiu and Lin Ayu had joined forces to attack Duan Lingtian, but they were still unable to break through his defenses. This had caused their hearts to sink. However, Wang Qiuquang's arrival gave them hope. Father. When Wang Danfeng, who was imprisoned by Duan Lingtian, saw her father, tears welled up in her eyes again. Although she was a 9 Palaces celestial duke and the second guardian of the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, she was only a daughter in front of Wang Qiuquang. When a daughter was wronged, it was fine if her father was not around. She could not help but vent her emotions when she saw her father. Seeing the tears in Wang Danfeng's eyes, Wang Qiuquang's expression turned ugly. He raised his hand, and surges of immortal origin energy swept forth like a flood and enveloped Wang Danfeng's body. Wherever Wang Qiuquang's celestial elemental energy passed through, the purple qi on Wang Danfeng's body was also annihilated. It was as if it had never existed. As for Wang Danfeng, she also regained her freedom. The eyes of the people from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect brightened when they saw Wang Qiuquang had broken free from Wang Danfeng's restraints. After all, the binding that the 9 Palaces immortal monarchs were unable to do anything to was undone by Wang Qiuquang. This meant that Wang Qiuquang's strength far surpassed that of the 9 Palaces immortal monarchs. Furthermore, Wang Qiuquang's ability to undo the restraints that Duan Lingtian had placed on Wang Danfeng made many people subconsciously feel that Wang Qiuquang was not any weaker than Duan Lingtian. However, they did not know that when Wang Qiuquang appeared, Duan Lingtian had already removed the power that was binding Wang Danfeng. Otherwise, even if Wang Qiuquang made a move, it would be impossible to remove the restraints on Wang Danfeng. Who are you? Wang Qiuquang asked in a deep voice as he looked at the purple-clad young man with a piercing gaze. His tone was cold and condescending, as though he was a superior who was questioning a subordinate. Although Duan Lingtian had introduced himself, Wang Qiuquang had never seen Duan Lingtian before. Therefore, He did not associate the purple-clad young man with the chief celestial alchemist of the Tai Yi celestial sect in the wasteland. In his opinion, it was impossible for the chief celestial alchemist of the Tai Yi celestial sect in the wasteland to possess such strength. Before Wang Chouquang arrived, he had already sensed the commotion. With his divine consciousness, he had witnessed how Nangong Xiu and Lin Yu were unable to break through Duan Lingtian's defenses even after they had joined forces with their king-grade celestial weapons. Wang Chouquang had also sensed Duan Lingtian's defensive king-grade celestial weapon. Otherwise, he would not have the guts to question Duan Lingtian like this. After all, if Duan Lingtian did not use his defensive king-grade celestial weapon to block Nangong Xiu and Lin Yu's king-grade celestial weapons, based on this, Wang Chouquang was certain Duan Lingtian was at least a quasi-celestial king or even a celestial king. In front of a quasi-celestial king or a celestial king, Wang Chouquang, a mere 10 directions celestial duke, did not even dare to breathe loudly, let alone question Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian had taken out the umbrella earlier because he did not want to waste his celestial origin energy. As for the umbrella, it was a defensive king-grade celestial weapon that he had obtained from the little world where he had obtained the royal-grade celestial weapon, the mystical Yin 9 water chestnut ring. Apart from obtaining the royal-grade celestial weapon, the mystical Yin 9 water chestnut ring, Duan Lingtian had also obtained a few king-grade celestial weapons. One of the king-grade celestial weapons was the umbrella that he had taken out earlier. "You're questioning me?" Duan Lingtian's expression darkened when he heard Wang Chouquang's question. Then, a powerful energy surged out of his body and shot toward Wang Chouquang. It was none other than his celestial origin energy. At the same time, his divine consciousness swept out and pressed down on Wang Chouquang. His celestial origin energy and divine consciousness that were comparable to a 6-combo celestial king surged out, causing the void to tremble. Ripples began to spread in all directions. Whoosh! As soon as Duan Lingtian's divine consciousness pressed down on Wang Chouquang's expression changed drastically when he sensed Duan Lingtian's terrifying aura. In the face of Duan Lingtian's ferocious celestial origin energy, Wang Chouquang's celestial origin energy was completely destroyed by Duan Lingtian's celestial origin energy. Bang! With a loud bang, Wang Chouquang was sent flying. As he was sent flying, he coughed up blood as if it was free. Wang Chouquang only managed to regain his footing after he was sent flying for several hundred meters. Even Li Ping, a 1 basic celestial king from the blissful sect, was killed by me. How dare a mere 10 directions celestial duke question me? After injuring Wang Chouquang, Duan Lingtian withdrew his divine consciousness and celestial origin energy back into his body in just a blink of an eye. After Duan Lingtian withdrew his divine consciousness and celestial origin energy, he sneered disdainfully at Wang Chouquang, who was standing a few hundred meters away. As soon as Duan Lingtian's words left his mouth, the entire place fell silent. Wang Danfeng was standing next to Wang Chouquang earlier. Although Duan Lingtian's divine consciousness and celestial origin energy were not directed at her, she could still sense the terrifying aura from the divine consciousness and celestial origin energy. Although the aura was not directed at her, it was stifling to the point of suffocation. The aura had surpassed the level of a celestial duke. Even the divine consciousness and celestial origin energy of a quasi-celestial king would not be able to emit such a terrifying aura. He held back earlier. In Wang Danfeng's heart, such a thought suddenly popped up without any warning. As soon as this thought appeared in her mind, fear crept into her heart. It took a long time for her to calm down. Li Ping has broken through and become a celestial king. Moreover, he was killed by you even after he had broken through. In the distance, Wang Chouquang, who was injured by Duan Lingtian, did not even have time to think about how terrifying Duan Lingtian's divine consciousness and celestial origin energy were when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. His expression changed drastically. "I, Duan Lingtian, am not one to lie. It won't be long before news of this matter reaches my ears," Duan Lingtian said indifferently. While Duan Lingtian was speaking, Wang Chouquang recalled the divine consciousness and celestial origin energy that Duan Lingtian had used on him earlier. After a while, he began to believe Duan Lingtian's words. After all, Duan Lingtian's strength was much stronger than an ordinary celestial king. Even a one basic celestial king would not be able to injure Wang Qiuquang to such an extent with just his divine consciousness and celestial origin energy. Wait a minute, all of a sudden, Wang Qiuquang seemed to have discovered something. His eyes widened as he looked at Duan Lingtian in shock and disbelief. Why, you said you're Duan Lingtian? Currently, Wang Qiuquang was looking at Duan Lingtian as though he had just seen a ghost. Was Duan Lingtian not the chief celestial alchemist of the Taiyi celestial sect in the wasteland? I'm Duan Lingtian, Murong Bing's man. Today, I came to the compassionate celestial traveler sect to challenge Wang Qiuquang, a 10 Directions celestial duke. In response to Wang Qiuquang's question, Duan Lingtian repeated what he had said when he first entered the compassionate celestial traveler sect's estate. His voice was the same, and his words were the same as well. At this moment, Wang Qiuquang was certain the purple-clad young man was Duan Lingtian, the chief celestial alchemist of the Taiyi celestial sect in the wasteland. Master Duan. Although Wang Qiuquang was shocked by Duan Lingtian's strength at such a young age, he had no time to be shocked. After all, based on Duan Lingtian's words, it was clear Duan Lingtian wanted to challenge him. If it was said that he did not take Duan Lingtian seriously before this and felt Duan Lingtian was not qualified to fight him at all, however, at this moment, he did not dare to fight Duan Lingtian. What a joke! Duan Lingtian was able to injure him to such an extent with just his celestial origin energy. Alchemist Duan, is there some misunderstanding between us? Wang Qiuquang asked with a wry smile on his face as he looked at Duan Lingtian. The reason he asked this was naturally because Duan Lingtian did not challenge anyone else but him. There's no misunderstanding between us. I'm challenging you to let your daughter know that I, Duan Lingtian, and even the compassionate celestial traveler sect, stand behind her disciple, Murong Bing. Duan Lingtian, naturally, knew what Wang Qiuquang was thinking. As he spoke, he shifted his gaze to Wang Danfeng. Duan Lingtian looked at Wang Danfeng and continued speaking indifferently. Chapter 29-24. There's no misunderstanding between us. I'm challenging you to let your daughter know that I, Duan Lingtian, and the entire compassionate celestial traveler sect can't afford to offend Murong Bing. I'm here today to let you know that if anything happens to Murong Bing, I, Duan Lingtian, will not only kill you, but I'll also annihilate the entire compassionate celestial traveler sect. Duan Lingtian's voice was calm, but when the people from the compassionate celestial traveler sect heard his words, they felt a chill run down their spines. At the same time, they could feel Duan Lingtian's domineering aura. If Duan Lingtian had said these words before today, they would have scoffed. However, after witnessing Duan Lingtian's strength and hearing his words, they felt that Duan Lingtian was qualified to say such words. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, everyone from the compassionate celestial traveler sect shifted their attention to Wang Danfeng, the second guardian of the compassionate celestial traveler sect. At this moment, even Wang Qiuquang was looking at Wang Danfeng. Danfeng. Most of the elders and disciples of the compassionate celestial traveler sect did not know why Duan Lingtian had said those words. It was as though Wang Danfeng would harm Murong Bing. However, as Wang Danfeng's biological father, Wang Qiuquang knew about the relationship between Murong Bing and Duan Lingtian. Therefore, he immediately sent a voice transmission to Wang Danfeng. I know you're not willing to let Bing be with this man, and you hate Bing for failing to live up to your expectations. However, you've seen it for yourself. Bing-er's man is at least a celestial king, and is not an ordinary celestial king. If he wants to kill you, it'll be easy for him to annihilate the compassionate celestial traveler sect. Wang Qiuquang's tone was filled with helplessness as he spoke through voice transmission. Father, I know. At this moment, Wang Danfeng's expression was extremely unsightly. She did not expect the man whom she wanted to kill to sully her disciple's purity was actually a celestial king. She knew she would not be able to do anything to her disciple from today onward. If she still wanted to do anything to her disciple, not only would the compassionate celestial traveler sect stop her, but her father as well. Bing-er, you've found yourself a good man. Wang Danfeng gritted her teeth as she muttered to herself. The feeling of being forced into a corner was driving her crazy. Bing duan bing duan ling tian said. Duan ling tian, duan ling tian tian, duan ling tian, duan sect, duan tian's a duan ju tian and heaven's a duan tian celestial sect an. When Murong Bing heard Duan Lingtian's words, Duan Lingtian disappeared from the compassionate celestial traveler sect's estate in just a blink of an eye. Even Wang Qiu Kuang, the old ancestor of the compassionate celestial traveler sect, felt as though Duan Lingtian and his 2 disciples had vanished into thin air. Needless to say, the others were shocked as well. What a fast speed! Even a one basic celestial king isn't as fast as him. Wang Qiu Kuang was shocked when he saw Duan Lingtian's speed. At the same time, he made up his mind to keep an eye on his daughter and protect his grand disciple, Murong Bing. He's so powerful. Third senior sister seems to have found herself a good man. But why didn't he bring third senior sister away? Liu Luo was among the disciples of the compassionate celestial traveler sect. After Duan Lingtian and his 2 disciples left, an expression of disbelief and shock remained on her face for a long time. 1,000 years later? I don't even know if I'll still be alive after 1,000 years. When Murong Bing heard Duan Lingtian's voice transmission, she thought Duan Lingtian had been forced to leave the compassionate celestial traveler sect. She could not help but smile bitterly. As for why Duan Lingtian was able to accurately transmit his voice to her through voice transmission, she thought someone had informed him of her location. For this reason, Duan Lingtian was able to accurately transmit his voice to her through voice transmission. Although she could also transmit her voice to Duan Lingtian's location, she was certain the people around Duan Lingtian would hear her. For this reason, she did not reply to Duan Lingtian through voice transmission. At this moment, Murong Bing was certain Duan Lingtian did not have a powerful background in the central area. Otherwise, why would he be forced to leave? She felt that once Duan Lingtian left, her master, Wang Danfeng, would no longer be as cautious as before. She would surely come over to kill her at the first possible moment to quell her anger. On the other side, junior sister, are you going to release Bing or should I do it for you? Although Nangong Xiu, the sect leader of the compassionate celestial traveler sect, wanted to release Murong Bing immediately, he could not help but sniff Wang Danfeng. After all, Wang Danfeng was Murong Bing's master, the second guardian of the compassionate celestial traveler sect, and the daughter of the supreme guardian of the compassionate celestial traveler sect. Sect leader, I'll let you do this for me. Wang Danfeng did not respond to Nangong Xiu. However, her father, Wang Qiu Kuang, responded to Nangong Xiu on her behalf. At the same time, he raised his hand and released his celestial origin energy before he brought Wang Danfeng away. Yes, Supreme Guardian. Nangong Xiu's eyes lit up when she heard Wang Qiu Kuang's reply. She immediately made her way to the place where Murong Bing was being held captive by Wang Danfeng. Senior uncle, I'm going to bring third senior sister out as well. Liu Luo's voice rang in the air. At this moment, Nangong Xiu, who had just made her move, released a gentle energy and brought Liu Luo along. After Nangong Xiu brought Liu Luo away, Lin Yu left as well. At this moment, only the elders and disciples of the compassionate celestial traveler sect remained. Can anyone tell me what's going on? Based on what the sect leader said, senior sister Murong Bing has been imprisoned by Guardian Danfeng? What's going on? Also, that Duan Lingtian seemed to have said his senior sister Murong Bing's man. Isn't senior sister Murong going to be the next sect leader of the compassionate celestial traveler sect? She can't find another man, right? She's imprisoned by Guardian Danfeng. Before that Duan Lingtian left, he even threatened Guardian Danfeng. It's as though his worried Guardian Danfeng would harm senior sister Murong. Could it be, although a few elders of the compassionate celestial traveler sect knew what had happened, they did not dare to speak carelessly. However, even if they did not say anything, the elders and disciples of the compassionate celestial traveler sect could vaguely guess what had happened. Guardian Danfeng killed one of her disciples because she had an affair with another man. She had high hopes for that disciple to become the next sect leader of the compassionate celestial traveler sect. It seems like senior sister Murong's situation is similar to her senior sister's situation. The situation is similar. However, the difference is senior sister Murong has found a powerful man. He's so powerful that Guardian Danfeng can't do anything about it. I really envy senior sister Murong for being able to find such a powerful man. That man is not even 100 years old, but he's already a celestial king. I wonder how heaven-defying his future will be, a celestial king who's not even 100 years old. If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it even if you beat me to death. The disciples of the compassionate celestial traveler sect discussed among themselves. They were shocked that Murong Bing had found such a powerful man and a celestial king who was not even 100 years old. A celestial king who's not even 100 years old. I wonder if there's another celestial king in the Southern Heaven territory apart from Master Duan. I don't think so. Before Master Duan appeared, I've never heard of a celestial king who's not even 100 years old in the Southern Heaven territory. I don't think so as well. A celestial king who's not even 100 years old. Master Duan seemed to have said that he doesn't come from a powerful clan in the central area. Perhaps, Master Duan's background isn't in the Southern Heaven territory. He only said that he doesn't come from a powerful clan in the central area, but he didn't say that he doesn't have any other background. At this moment, the elders and disciples of the compassionate celestial traveler sect felt that Duan Lingtian had a powerful background that surpassed any force in the Southern Heaven territory. Also, Master Duan said that he's a transcender. Does this mean that Master Duan is a reincarnated powerhouse with his memories? If that's the case, everything makes sense. The stronger one is, the greater the risk of being reincarnated. For some people in the mundane realms, it's not too risky to be reincarnated. However, once one ascends to the Devata realms and becomes a celestial, it's extremely dangerous to be reincarnated. If Master Duan is a reincarnated powerhouse, he must be a powerful sectless cultivator in his past life even if he doesn't have a powerful background. When the elders and disciples of the compassionate celestial traveler sect recalled Duan Lingtian saying that he was a transcender, they began to speculate. Duan Lingtian was a reincarnated powerhouse. Otherwise, how could he have achieved so much when he was not even 100 years old? As the elders and disciples of the compassionate celestial traveler sect discussed among themselves, Nangong, the sect leader of the compassionate celestial traveler sect, brought Liu Luo to the place where Murong Bing was imprisoned. Swoosh, swoosh. As soon as Nangong made her move, the formations in the place where Murong Bing was imprisoned were broken. Third senior sister. As soon as the formation was dispelled, Liu Luo rushed in and tightly hugged Murong Bing, who was still in a daze. Liu Luo. Senior aunt sect leader. Murong Bing glanced at the girl in green who was hugging her before her gaze landed on Nangong Xiu, who was descending from the sky not far away. Murong Bing's eyes and face were filled with confusion. She had thought her master would be the first to arrive after Duan Lingtian left. Moreover, her master would most likely kill her. Chapter 29-25. Bing you can leave this place now. Seeing Murong Bing's blank expression, Nangong Xiu smiled faintly. Her eyes were filled with doting love. At the same time, she sighed in relief. Although Duan Lingtian had lied to her during the alchemy conference, she was still pleased with his arrival and Duan Lingtian's strength. At the very least, she no longer had to worry about her junior sister harming her niece. Her niece had found herself a good man. Leave this place. Murong Bing smiled bitterly. Is master going to punish me? Senior aunt, did she ask you and Liu Luo to pick me up so we can meet one last time? Although Murong Bing had already expected this outcome, she could not remain as calm as before when she was faced with it in real life. Silly girl, what are you thinking? You're fine now. Your master won't punish you anymore. Nangong shook his head and smiled. Third senior sister, the man you found is too powerful. Even Grandmaster doesn't dare to act recklessly in front of him. At this time, Luluor left Murong Bing's embrace and raised her head to look at Murong Bing, her slightly immature face filled with excitement. Based on her words, it was as though she was the one who had acted recklessly in front of the people from the compassionate celestial traveler sect and not Duan Lingtian. Tchem. Murong Bing was confused. She had no idea what had happened. It was only when Liu Luo told her what had happened that she finally understood what the man had done. He had easily imprisoned her master, Wang Danfeng, a 9 Palaces celestial duke and the second guardian of the compassionate celestial traveler sect. Then, he managed to stop her senior aunt, Nangong Xiu, the sect leader of the compassionate celestial traveler sect, and Lin Yu, the first guardian of the compassionate celestial traveler sect. Most importantly, Nangong Xiu and Lin Yu, 2 9 Palaces celestial dukes who were stronger than her master, had joined forces and even used the compassionate celestial traveler sect's sect-guarding celestial weapons. Even then, they were still unable to break through the man's defenses. He is an immortal king expert. Murong Bing's heart skipped a beat when she learned that even her grandmaster's father, the supreme guardian of the compassionate celestial traveler sect, Wang Qiuquang, was so intimidated that he did not dare to act recklessly. Although, when that man had just arrived and threatened to challenge her grandmaster, she knew that he had come. However, she had never thought that he really had the strength to defeat her grandmaster. After all, her grandmaster, the supreme guardian of the compassionate celestial traveler sect, was the strongest person in the sect. He was a powerful 10 Directions celestial duke. In fact, when the man told her that he would come back to pick her up after 1,000 years, she thought that he had returned empty-handed. She had never thought that not only did that man subdue her master with a flip of his palm, but he also easily withstood the joint attack of her sect leader and guardian Lin Yu. Then, when her grandmaster appeared, he was so scared that he did not dare to accept the challenge. Moreover, he had even forced her extremely prideful master to compromise. This, Murong Bing was so shocked that she was unable to regain her senses for a long time. Senior sister, he came for you. But why didn't he take you away? Why didn't he see you leave? Liu Luo was confused. Bing did he speak to you before he left? As the sect leader of the compassionate celestial traveler sect and a 9 Palaces celestial duke, Nangong, naturally, knew that it would be easy for Duan Lingtian to communicate with Murong Bing if he wanted to. Yes. Murong Bing nodded. Then, she looked in the direction where the voice transmission came from and muttered to herself, he told me that he would come back to pick me up after 1,000 years. 1,000 years. Liu Luo's eyes widened. So long. To Liu Luo, 1,000 years was indeed a long time since she was not even 100 years old. 1,000 years. It seems like he has something to do in the coming days, so it's not convenient for him to bring you along. Nangong speculated. Yes. Murong Bing nodded. If it's not convenient for him to bring third senior sister along, why is it convenient for him to bring that woman along? Luluor was non-committal as she coldly snorted. Murong Bing remained silent. Bing although I don't know what's the relationship between Master Duan and the white-clad woman, the way Master Duan looked at her was more like the way an elder brother would look at his younger sister. It wasn't the kind of love a man would give to a woman. Nangong said. Although she had not experienced love for most of her life, as the saying went, even if you have never eaten pork, you have seen a pig run. Due to this reason, she could tell Duan Lingtian did not have any feelings for the white-clad woman. Upon hearing Nangong's words, Murong Bing's eyes lit up. Nangong sighed inwardly when she saw the light in Murong Bing's eyes. There was one more thing she did not say. It was, although the way Duan Lingtian looked at the white-clad woman did not seem to be filled with affection, the way the white-clad woman looked at Duan Lingtian was as though she was looking at her lover. Since Master Duan has told you that he'll come for you after 1,000 years, it means he has his own considerations. 1,000 years is just a blink of an eye for celestials like us. Nangong continued, therefore, Bing you should stay in the sect for the next 1,000 years and wait for Master Duan to come for you. After a while, Nangong added, Bing don't go and see your master for the next few days. I'm afraid she won't be happy to see you. I'll go with you in a few days. Nangong said. Thank you, senior uncle sect leader. Murong Bing knew that with her master's pride, she would be in a bad mood after being forced to lower her head. If she went to see her master now, although her master would not dare to touch her due to the man's strength, she would not be happy. Brother Lingtian, why didn't you take Sister Murong Bing away from the compassionate celestial traveler sect? After Duan Lingtian left the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, Huan who had remained silent in the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect's estate, could not help but ask Duan Lingtian. It's easy for me to take her away from the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, but I can't guarantee her safety if she comes with me. Duan Lingtian said truthfully, therefore, I think it's best for her to stay in the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. When the time is right and I'm strong enough to protect her, I'll come and take her away. After Duan Lingtian finished speaking, he turned to look at the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect's estate and thought to himself, if I can return from the divine offering land after 1,000 years, I'll come and take you back. Duan Lingtian was certain he would be strong enough to roam the Devata realms if he could return from the divine offering land after 1,000 years. Guardian Tai. Duan Lingtian looked at Tai Tai He and said with a glint in his eyes, now that the matter with the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect is over, I don't plan to return to the sect. I plan to leave the borderlands and head to the central area. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, he raised his hand and 2 memory celestial talismans appeared in his hand. These 2 memory celestial talismans contain the Blissful sect's Duke Grade Celestial method, the Immobilization King method, and the Profound Heaven Celestial sect's Duke Grade Divine ability, the Eastern Purple Chi. After a while, Duan Lingtian brought the 2 memory celestial talismans to Tai Tai He with his celestial origin energy. Master Duan. Tai Tai He became anxious when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. You should personally hand these memory celestial talismans to the sect leader. Moreover, don't you owe Jian Qiu Luo, the sect leader of the Thousand Spiders Celestial sect, a favor? Aren't you going to return the favor before leaving? In order to persuade Duan Lingtian to stay, Tai Tai He even mentioned Jian Qiu Luo, the sect leader of the Thousand Spiders Celestial sect. Previously, when Duan Lingtian returned to the wasteland with the people from the Thousand Spiders Celestial sect, he had promised Jian Qiu Luo that he would return the favor. I haven't forgotten sect leader Jian's favor. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly and said, Elder Tai, when you return to the sect, tell the sect leader to give one of the Duke Grade Celestial methods and divine abilities to the Thousand Spiders Celestial sect after he or someone else has completely mastered them. This way, I'll be able to return the favor to Jian Qiu Luo, the sect leader of the Thousand Spiders Celestial sect. I'm sure the sect leader won't refuse this. If sect master refuses, I'll return the favor myself in the future. Moreover, please bid farewell to the sect leader, Master Situ, and the others on my behalf. Tell them that I'll visit them if I have the chance in the future. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, he did not wait for Tai Tai his reply before he left with Huan. It was as though they had vanished into thin air. Tai Tai He could only smile wryly when he saw Duan Lingtian and Huan vanishing into thin air. Master Duan left in such a hurry. Initially, Tai Tai He thought Duan Lingtian would only consider leaving the borderlands for the central area after returning to the Taiyi Celestial sect. He did not expect Duan Lingtian would leave the borderlands for the central area as soon as he left the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect. Duan Lingtian brought Huan and Huan to a forest in just a blink of an eye. Huan, I'll leave the rest of the journey to the central area. Currently, I have enough celestial origin energy for 2 or 3 more celestial kings. If I travel on my own, I'm afraid I won't have enough celestial origin energy for 2 more celestial kings before we reach the central area. There was no need for Duan Lingtian to hide anything from Huan. Although he had tried to conserve his celestial origin energy during the journey to the Compassionate Celestial Traveler sect, he had still expended a lot of it. Currently, his strength was only comparable to a 5-element celestial king. Brother Lingtian, you should rest. Save your celestial origin energy for when you need it, Huan said. Chapter 29-26. Currently, I've completely comprehended and mastered the triple trait Duke Grade Celestial method, the Immobilization King method, and the triple trait Duke Grade Divine ability, the Eastern Violet Chi. The only technique that I can still use now is the Assist type Heaven Grade Divine ability, the Elementary Devouring tactic. However, to the current me, these methods are already enough. What I have to do now is to raise my cultivation base. Although my celestial origin energy and soul are at the level of a celestial king due to the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon, it's still not my true strength. What I can rely on, and what I can rely on even more, is still my own strength. Duan Lingtian's strength was still comparable to a 5-element celestial king due to the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon. However, Duan Lingtian was not blinded by this. Although he felt as though he was a celestial king every time he unleashed his strength, he knew he was still an overarching heavenly supreme celestial. As long as the energy from the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon was depleted, his strength would return to its original state. Apart from that, the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon could not be used indefinitely. It could only be used 3 times. Duan Lingtian had already used it once. In other words, he only had 2 uses left. It's also because my opponents are weaker than me when I'm using the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon. Otherwise, my celestial origin energy wouldn't have been depleted so slowly. Duan Lingtian knew the reason his celestial origin energy was depleted so slowly was because he had yet to encounter opponents who were on par with him or slightly weaker than him. Even if he was evenly matched with his opponent, he would still be able to defeat and even kill him when his celestial origin energy was depleted. On the other hand, his opponents who were slightly weaker than him would be able to turn the tables and defeat him. After all, the energy granted by the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon was constantly being depleted. The energy granted by the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon will be depleted as time passes. Unless I'm facing an opponent who's stronger than me, the longer I fight, the faster my energy will be depleted. Apart from that, even if I'm facing an opponent who's stronger than me, my energy will be depleted as well. Duan Lingtian knew the reason the energy granted by the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon was depleted so slowly was because his opponents were not strong. The strongest opponent he faced was a 1 basic celestial king who had just become a celestial king. If I had used the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon earlier, I would have used up most of my strength even if I could kill a 9 palaces celestial king. Even if I'm facing an opponent who's weaker than a 9 palaces celestial king, it's a royal-grade celestial weapon. I can't rely on the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon, I can't rely on it. I can't rely royal-grade celestial strength. In the end, it's still my own strength that's more important. Due to this reason, Duan Lingtian immersed himself in his cultivation throughout the rest of the journey. Since he had the king-grade celestial technique, the Tai profound method, and 99 heavenly veins, Duan Lingtian's cultivation speed was not slow at all even without the heaven and earth spirit energy from Huaner's divine crystal. Since they were outside, Duan Lingtian did not dare to expose Huaner's divine crystal. With his current divine consciousness, he would be able to predict the presence of a 5-element celestial king. However, who knew if he would encounter a 5-element celestial king? For this reason, Duan Lingtian did not dare to take the risk. Divine crystals were too precious. Let alone celestial kings, even celestial lords and ordinary celestial emperors would covet divine crystals. Ahem. After traveling for about half a month, Duan Lingtian, who was immersed in his cultivation, suddenly opened his eyes. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. As soon as Duan Lingtian opened his eyes, a group of figures flew toward him at an extremely fast speed. A1 basic celestial duke. 8 peak overarching heavenly supreme celestials. Duan Lingtian's divine consciousness that was equivalent to a 5-element celestial king's divine consciousness was easily detected by the newcomers. What a beautiful woman! In just a blink of an eye, the 9 figures arrived before Duan Lingtian and Duan Lingtian, blocking their path. The short, middle-aged man who seemed to be the leader of the group gasped when he saw Huaner. After sucking in a breath of cold air, his eyes flashed with a greedy luster, like a hungry wolf that had encountered a delicious prey. Big brother, it seems like we're in luck today. Not only will we be able to rob them, but we'll also be able to rob them of their beauty. A young man among the group of 8 looked at Huaner with a greedy expression on his face. Everyone had a love for beauty. Huaner's beauty was unparalleled in the world. It was difficult for a normal man not to be attracted to her. The 9 of them were experienced in robbing passers-by in this area. Since the woman was leading the group, it meant she was stronger than the other man. Moreover, she was only a heaven stage overarching heavenly supreme celestial at most. 8 of them were peak overarching heavenly supreme celestials, and one of them was a one basic celestial duke. Not to mention that the purple-clothed young man that the woman brought away might not necessarily be as strong as her. Even if he was stronger than her, they would not be afraid. This is the first time I've seen such a beautiful woman in my life. If I can have sex with her, I'll have no regrets in life. I agree. She's too beautiful. I've never seen such a beautiful woman before. We're in luck today. 6 of the other 7 looked at her with gleaming eyes. Their words were even more unbridled. It was as if they could already see Juana becoming their captive and letting them do whatever they wanted to her. Big brother. At this moment, one of the 9 men who had been silent all this while stepped forward. He was a middle-aged man with an ordinary appearance and was dressed in a plain robe. He looked at the one basic celestial duke and said, "Why don't we give up on this deal?" The middle-aged man said as he looked at Duan Ling Tian, who was sitting cross-legged next to Huan Er. Duan Ling Tian was looking at them calmly. Although the middle-aged man had never seen Duan Ling Tian before, he could not help but feel chills running up his spine when he saw how calm Huan Er and Duan Ling Tian were. In the past, it wasn't like he hadn't met people who deliberately mystified them and deliberately scared them, but although those people looked calm on the surface, they didn't give him this kind of creepy feeling. Moreover, the white-clad woman in front of him was too beautiful, so beautiful that it took his breath away. How could a woman like her, who was able to arrive here without concealing her appearance, be ordinary? Or rather, would the people around her be ordinary? Give up. Upon hearing the middle-aged man's words, the short middle-aged man who was a one basic celestial duke was taken aback. Second brother, are you going to watch such a beautiful woman slip away before your eyes? You won't get another chance like this if you miss this opportunity. You might not be able to meet such a beautiful woman again in the future, the short middle-aged man said. The short middle-aged man spoke very politely to the second brother he spoke of. There was even a questioning tone in his voice. Second brother, you can't ruin our plans. Second brother, we know you have a lot of tricks up your sleeve, and you're a cautious person. However, I don't think we'll be so unlucky this time. That's right. Second brother, don't forget that you've made mistakes before as well. Big brother, you can't listen to second brother. We have to do this deal. The other 7 men looked at the middle-aged man greedily as they spoke to the middle-aged man. At the same time, they did not forget to persuade the short middle-aged man, their eldest brother. Second brother, as you can see, we can't listen to you today. Hearing the words of the 7 people, the short middle-aged man looked at the second brother with a bitter smile on his face. However, there was no sign of compromise in his eyes, only the luster of a hungry wolf. It was clear he did not want to give up on this deal so easily. Forget it. At most, I'll die with all of you. The middle-aged man, the second brother, shook his head helplessly. His expression was grim as though he was ready to die. Second brother, don't be like this. If you don't want to do this deal, you can just leave. You don't have to act like we're a burden to you. The short middle-aged man frowned, clearly displeased. That's right. Second brother, if you don't want to do this deal with us, you can leave now. That way, we'll have one less person to share the profits with. Another 3 men chimed in when they heard the short middle-aged man's words. The middle-aged man snorted and said, I'm not leaving. If you succeed in this deal, I won't share anything with you even if I misjudged you. A hint of anger could be heard in his voice when he spoke. Fine. Second brother, you said it yourself. As expected of second brother. Second brother, as your younger brother, I'll thank you in advance. Without second brother. After capturing this woman, it should be my turn to spend the night with her soon, right? You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,